on this onset. The very first thing I would like to express my sincere gratitude is Grace Panchagoda Prabhu and the whole management, is called Vrindavan management, Sripad Prabhu, Golokanan Maharaj, Janardhan Maharaj, Vishwanath Prabhu, the whole management who always have been really, really supportive, kind and mature in the guidance, in the blessings to 24-hour Kirtan and all the devotees. And I'm sure all rest of the department and their leaders have the similar experience with Prabhuji. So also everybody knows that Panchagoda Prabhu had a very nice and a very friendly relationship with Aindra Prabhu, and he has supported Aindra Prabhu and 24-hour Kirtan since then when he took over this position of temple president, and even in past. And he was the first one to actually come forward and support Aindra Prabhu financially to get his first album released, Vrindavan Mellows 1. So, His Grace Panchagoda Prabhu ki jai. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. And I would like to request Panchagoda Prabhu to kindly just come and say a few words glorifying Aindra Prabhu. In the meantime, since Panchagoda Prabhu comes and takes his seat, I will request devotees to read some excerpts from Aindra Prabhu's book.
Jai. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruvai Namaha. So miraculously, after so many years of Aindra Prabhu passing away, we got permission, and now finally we have our samadhi. I came in 1993 to live in Vrindavan, and Aindra Prabhu is, you can see the intensity of his kirtans and his focus in understanding the message of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad-Gita. He was eccentric. He one time gave a very powerful talk, the hell with the rituals, the hell with the sacrifices, and the hell with all, management. But he was focusing on the holy name and calling out Krishna's name. He took great pleasure in being in Krishna Balaram Mandir, dressing Radha Shyama Sundar. Although, there was some, ecstatic symptoms always being manifest, it's not something you can imitate. He was also very strict with his followers, and he was always very respectful with Matajis. He was never just over the top or overly rigid. Of course, very, very dedicated. Vanaprastha sannyasi, Goswami, living in Vrindavan, very renounced. And when we would be together in the room with Sachi Sutta and the thousands of Shilas, it was very intimate, and he would speak beautifully about the importance of Krishna consciousness and taking it seriously, that without making a strong endeavor for following Prabhupada's program of hearing and chanting the Bhagavatam, the Gita, Krishna's personally speaking, guiding us. Srila Prabhupada is giving us a process of self-realization. And Aindra Prabhu, like a Parivrajacharya, he wanted to spread the holy name all over the world. He was very keen and eager to broadcast the message of Godhead. That is the only reason he was making the CDs, so people can hear the holy name and the excitement of all the devotees who are together. Even many of the youth who have never even met Aindra physically have been moved and inspired for the kirtan and to be part of a exciting movement of Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan mission. It's the essence of everything. Of course, that is an austerity, to chant nicely with and to behave properly in Krishna consciousness. So this, it'll come. I can speak loud. I got a big mouth. Hare Krishna. So the Goswamis, they set the example by performing the kirtan, by translating and giving us this Bhagavad-Gita. But this is most important, to have sadhu sangha. When you're in the association of devotees who have dedicated their lives for assisting their spiritual master to spread the sublime teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world, they are to be honored. And to show respect to the Guru is one thing, but to show respect to all the followers and sadhus. Lord Chaitanya is setting the example. Trinadapi sunichena tarodapi seshana amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. We want to chant the holy name all the time, want to hear the holy name all the time. But we have to learn to honor others, respect others, and meek and humble. So we're all trying to appreciate more and more this sadhu sangha, the kirtan, and glorification of a empowered personality. Unless someone is empowered by the Lord, they cannot spread the holy name. So Krishna is empowering those who are reciprocating. Yeyatamang prapajate tang stataiva bhajamyaham. Aindra Prabhu was sold out to Srila Prabhupada and sold out to the holy name, and he wanted that everyone should work hard, enthusiastic. In the early days, he did many, many hours of kirtan by himself with a few others, but he endured the austerity and tapasya because he understood that this is the Yuga Dharma. Kali Kalira Dharma Krishna Nam Sankirtan. So this is a wonderful focus and a wonderful place to be in Sri Vrindavan Dham, in the 24-hour kirtan, glorifying the general who has led forward this nice Sankirtan Yagya. Harinam Sankirtan. Aindra Prabhu ki. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Just one request, Prabhuji. I know very little.
I'd like to invite Sikhi Mahiti Prabhu. He is a preacher, also temple president in Atlanta, and many organizational activities, serving Srila Prabhupada's mission with great enthusiasm and determination. So we'll be honored to... He said he was here earlier, my representative, but I was a little late for the ceremony, so thank you.
ISKCON already had many centers, and with thousands of devotees throughout America and Europe, Srila Prabhupada could not always...
Ranjasa Gananjanan Shalakaya Chakshulme Tamyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakapatu Vishakripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Padme Vaishnavi Namaha Sripad Aindra Prabhu Ki. I knew Aindra Prabhu before he became well known for his service of kirtan. Of course, our movement is based on kirtan in the spreading the holy name. Pritivichi ati yatra nagaradigram savacha pravita habimoinam. So as I've been stating lately, this verse is really indicating Srila Prabhupada. Every town and village, he did it. So when you say Prabhupada, just like when you say Krishna, he's not by himself. So he has so many followers who come to execute particular parts of his mission, for sure. And Aindra Prabhu was definitely, became clear later, this was his mission. As we know, Prabhupada arrived in New York. He had his case of about 40 sets of first canto of Bhagavatam in 3 parts, his cartels. And he began his movement he put his books in the bookstore because, nobody knew about selling on the street. And he took his cartels and he would sit under a very nice tree in New York City, Tompkins Square Park. And he would chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari. Only one tune in those days. That was it. There wasn't any up, down, just changing melodies. Just sometimes he would sing like that for 5 hours. We can barely do 5 minutes one tune, right? We have to change them. So, and people would come, their broken instruments, all kind of things. Everybody would just chant. So the movement was launched. Of course, Mahaprabhu brought this holy name. Prabhupada carried it on. But the holy name in the form of chanting, the Sankirtan, as we know, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur introduced Brihat Mardanga. We have a Mardanga, but Brihat Mardanga, same kirtan, but now in book form, because it spread faster. People hear the holy name, oh, that was interesting, and they go about their business. If they take the book, it'll stay and it'll go so many places. So eventually the movement went from chanting on the street, devotees would chant, they began selling back to Godhead, getting more money, then printing the big books that Prabhupada wanted. All that extra money was, you'd be surprised, it wasn't used to build nice temples in America. In Atlanta, we still have the same building from 1975. All that money sent to Vrindavan, Mayapur, so many. So Panchagota, you have to send us some money, okay? So you can build a nice temple in Atlanta. Like that. Okay. So as a result, everyone had to do book distribution. I joined up almost same time, Aindra, a little after. And we only did Harinam just for the Back to God Hit magazine photograph. Otherwise, everybody on books. Everybody. Now we understand why. There was a certain urgency where money and things were needed. So I met Aindra in that way. He was on Radha Damodar traveling parties. 6 Greyhound buses converted to temples with Gaur-Nitai deities. Full deity worship. 7 artiks on the bus. 20 brahmacharis. One person cooked, 1 artik. Everybody else selling books. So Aindra was like that. And I remember he come through Chicago as brahmacharis. We all exchanged. Oh, wow, how is it traveling with the Maharaj? Oh, this and that and so many things. Eventually, Srila Prabhupada's Leela, physical Leela ended. And of course, the 24-hour kirtan began here. At that time, I was here in 77 for the Gaur Pranim Festival when Prabhupada became gravely ill. And he said, start 24-hour kirtan. So when we came to Vrindavan for the second half of the festival, I had the assignment of chanting from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. by myself. So not like now so many people, it's just basically just foreigners. No Indian people coming at that time. And then Prabhupada passed away, the kirtan kind of went to the side, and we're all trying to figure out what to do, how to serve, how this movement can go forward. And I was in Chicago, Aindra Prabhu, I remember coming through, I think I was simple commander at that time. And he wasn't leading kirtan, this was what I was getting up to. He wasn't leading kirtans in those days. As a matter of fact, in Chicago, our temple president was one of the first to send devotees to India to learn how to play the instruments. Nobody could really play. You just kind of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Those were great kirtans. That was it. So Chaitanya Charitamrita came out. It talked about how the kirtans are organized. So many cartels, so many this. So he said, yes, let's do like that. So he sent devotees to learn. So when they came back, you had to be authorized to play mridanga. You had to be authorized to play cartels, what to speak of leading. You'd be surprised to know Aindra was not authorized. So sometimes you get in trouble, you pick the cartels up, you know. He picks the cartels up. I said, what are you doing? Put those cartels down. Go wash pots. Bossing them around like this. Anyway, movement goes on. Many of us went through so many different things. Aindra began to pick up the kirtan. Of course, he was an expert musician before he was a devotee. I'm not sure if you're aware of that, which we didn't know. And I went to, got my Karmi job more or less. So by 2009, I believe that Vrindavan Mellows was coming out on the CD. And I heard that. It was extraordinary, right? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. The kind of Bengali Vrindavan, just touch your heart. I said, wow, who is this Aindra? I didn't associate it with that Aindra. I thought it was some Indian singing. So by 2005, I was able to come to Vrindavan. And the first thing I did, I said, I want to find this Aindra who's singing like this. And I wasn't aware he was here doing the kirtan. And someone put, oh, that's Aindra. This person is singing like this. So I greeted him. He saw him. I go, wow, Aindra, I didn't know. I said, this is you? Yeah. I said, put down those cartels and go wash some pots. What do you think you're doing? He laughed because, And he told me about his service here, and I was like, wow, whoever knew that, the Leela manifests later, right? It's like Prabhupada. Most of these acharyas, when they appear, with the exception of Bhaktisiddhanta, you don't know who they are until they disappear. Then it becomes apparent who they are. So who knew? So he took me to his room, showed me his Sheilas, and I go, wow, you sure got a bunch. I just got the one. Take some more. I said, no, I just take the one. I don't need any more. And anyway, didn't get much more association. I was hoping, because I stopped working in 2008, but it was, anyway, too late by then. So I'm truly amazed to see that transformation, not the transformation, but, the manifestation of his Leela, that his purpose, and is still inspiring so many to this day. And very extraordinary. So anyway, I offer my obeisance unto him, and I pray that somehow or another he didn't take offense for me making him wash pots when he should be leading kirtan. And if he can bless me to be able to continue offering some service to Srila Prabhupada. His Grace Sripad Aindra Prabhu ki. All glory to the assembled devotees.
I request His Grace Gadagraja Prabhu to glorify Aindra Prabhu with his kind words.
Where's Sachi? So, we don't have enough time to actually explain Aindra. But any of you you played Madanga for Aindra, right? Isn't it? So this is the Kirtana Bhadakun. So, like Panchagoda said, Aindra used to dress Radhe Shyam here. And so one day, Aindra had a real pearl necklace, not plastic. And he said, come here. He said, come. Put this on Radharani. This is not working. Is it working? Haribol. So he gave me the necklace, this pearl necklace. He said, put this on Radharani. Now, if you've been on the altar, it's another world. So I climbed up. I didn't think I would make it. I thought I would leave my body, actually. So I climbed up and put the necklace on Radharani. It's called Aindra's mercy. So one day I said to him, "Where did you get that melody?" And he said, "Oh, it's raga." So he must have had some book with the ragas in it from the Vedas, because he had so many melodies, spontaneous all the time, so many melodies. And one day, Vrindavan, Vrindavan's not here. So Vrindavan was one of his mridanga players. Vrindavan was one of his mridanga players. And because Aindra sang every day. And just before Gaur Artik. And but Vrindavan wasn't there yet, so Aindra wouldn't start the kirtan without Vrindavan. So he screams out, "Vrindavan, Vrindavan!" So they finally brought Vrindavan. Then he would start. Vrindavan was a little bitty boy then. I don't know how he could play with Aindra for hours. Remember Vrindavan when he was so little boy, and he could play with Gopal. Where's Gopal? So if you've ever, after kirtan, he used to go outside Aindra, where the walk is there, by Radhe Sham. And if you look in his eyes after kirtan, they were blazing. They looked like yellow sapphires, just blazing. So now I'm suffering too much, Vilpralamba. I can't talk anymore. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you for your heart-touching offering. So now I will request His Grace Apurva Prabhu. Apurva Prabhu and Kamalini Mataji, they are parents of Amal Harinam Prabhu, the renowned Kirtaniya of our 24-hour Kirtan. He has spread holy name in so many cities, so many parts of the world. So I will request Apurva Prabhu to come. In the meantime, Raj Prabhu will read something.
Salakaya Chakshur Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. On this most auspicious day of the appearance of His Holiness, His Grace, Aindra Prabhu, I'm remembering seeing him first in the Radha Govinda Mandir when he had his special traveling kirtan makeshift cart. And it was the first time that I got an opportunity to go on that traveling cart. And I really got his commitment to distributing the holy name worldwide in the streets of New York City. That was a most ecstatic time for me. I went out a few times to join him in his special cart festival. But most of my association came, of course, both my wife and I were always listening to his CDs that were coming through. And through those CDs, my son, Amala Harinam, became very intensely attracted to coming and joining the Harinam party here in Vrindavan. So he was only 18 years old, and he requested that we give him a flight it was a round-trip ticket to stay for 1 year here in Vrindavan with Aindra Prabhu. And it was going very, very wonderfully for him. He immediately became attached to the holy name and also to his service of chanting, playing the drums and kartals. He was very expertly, what do they say, like Aindra's, I wouldn't say protege, but his eager student. And Amal himself was so attracted to staying here in Vrindavan. After 1 year, his ticket had expired, and he called us and said, should I forfeit the ticket and stay? And we said, yes, go for it. Stay with Aindra Prabhu, and your life will be sublime. And I think that was about 2009. In 2008, 1 year before my wife and I were commissioned to come to Vrindavan and take charge of the MVT restaurant there. So we were there for about 9 months, and during that period we had many ample opportunities to experience the mercy of Aindra Prabhu and be in his association. He was very, very kind to us, and he always encouraged us to chant the holy names. One specific event that I'll never forget was when Aindra's birthday came. That was amazing, because not only did he personally cook, he was involved in cooking all the preparations on his birthday. But that day, he didn't take any prasadam till after everyone had taken, and he personally served each and every one of his godbrothers and godsisters, served us prasadam. And that was very, very wonderful. What else? He was always concerned that we stay in Vrindavan. 2 days before I had to leave, he came up to me. The curtains were closed in the temple room. I guess it was after 1 o'clock, 1:30. And he told me, don't leave Vrindavan. And I said, I have to, my ticket is up. And he said, you can go back to the West, but only for preaching. Otherwise, you should come back and stay in Vrindavan. This is your home. This is your seva in this life. You will benefit. On one occasion, I told that story about Amal. Oh yes, Amal himself was developing quite a strong attachment to Aindra Prabhu, and actually he came to him and asked him if he would initiate him, and Aindra said, I'm not initiating, so I cannot do that service. But my son, his heart was always with Aindra Prabhu. He always wanted to have him as his guru. And as he was living here, though, he wanted to perform deity worship. So he took initiation actually from Bir Krishna Goswami. But he said, my main guru is Aindra Prabhu, but because he's not initiating, you can please accept me and I will be your disciple also. So he did that, and ever since that time that he was in Vrindavan, my son has taken up this service for his life of distributing the holy name around. And also, whenever he does a kirtan, he also gives some tribute to his Shiksha Guru, Aindra Prabhu, and speaks some nectar about his association here in Vrindavan. It was a very special time. 2 years he spent here, and that created his service for the rest of his lifetime. This is where he began, and I want to take this opportunity to thank Aindra Prabhu for really giving his quality time, his instructions, and his mercy to my dear son Amala Harinam, and making the holy name available in his heart so that he could distribute it around the world and give this mercy to others. So thank you, Aindra Prabhu. All glories to your transcendental loving service, to the holy name, to Sri Vrindavan Dham, and the 24-hour kirtan, which has remained fully intact. All glories to Sri Aindra Prabhu ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Kamilini Mataji, good wife of His Grace Apurva Prabhu and mother of Amal Harinam.
Jnana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Gena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I also had that opportunity to go on his flatbed truck that he had for Harinam in New York, going all around New York City. But when we were here in 2009 until 2010, there were quite a handful of young American men in the 24-hour kirtan party. And once we had a little home program in the little apartment at NVT, and he came to speak just to them, to the youth, and he was being very heavy with them, like telling them that they're nonsense and, they're not serious, they're not reading Prabhupada's books, and I was like, wow. I said, these children, all of these are born devotees. They're not just ordinary. He said, they're born in the movement. He said, so are the cockroaches and the mice. So what does it matter? That taking birth isn't everything. And he also, like my husband said, encouraged us to stay here. He said, you can, because I distribute books, and he said, just distribute books here, because then for every one book you distribute, that's like distributing 1,000, because everything is magnified 1,000 times in Vrindavan. And so I was fortunate too to attend the 6:30 Artik. Before the Artik started, right? Every night he would come and lead the kirtan. And also, I just want to say that when Aindra Prabhu left, in my whole life, including Srila Prabhupada even, that nobody affected me, nobody's disappearance had such an effect upon me as his. And you know why? Because he was the hero of our youth, and like he lifted them up, and gave them this purpose of the holy name and purpose of being in Vrindavan. And then I was so pained that they lost their hero. And and I never experienced such grief ever before. For like 2 weeks, every day, I just was crying and crying that for them, for the youth, that they lost this person who meant so much to them, and who kept them engaged, right, to live in the 24-hour kirtan ashram, they had to chant 16 rounds and, of course, follow the principles. So, like, he really gave them spiritual life in a very real way that they didn't have before that. And so I was very grateful for that. And then, like my husband said, it was his last Vyas Puja in March of 2010, and he didn't cook all of the preps, but he helped, but he served everyone, not just God brothers and God sisters. And then when he came to the ladies, he distributed sweets, and he said, "Sweets for the sweeties." So although, like he said, I have the kind of a reputation of kind of being a woman hater, maybe, because he was such a staunch brahmachari, but actually he had great regard and respect too for the women who are serious devotees, you know. So this is a wonderful occasion here, and I'm thankful that I get to be here today. So, Hare Krishna.
Quality of a fruit decides the quality of the tree. So Amal Harinam has such wonderful qualities that those qualities are coming from these two trees. Thank you so much for giving such nice sanskaras to your son. We are very, very grateful to you and Aindra Prabhu that you have given us Amal Harinam, who is such a powerful kirtaniya for our whole community. And there's water in the front side as well as on the back side. So when you feel thirsty, so kindly just facilitate yourself. Now I will request His Grace Radha Madhav Prabhu. Please come, Prabhuji. Radha Madhav Prabhu has been a very, very close associate of Sripad Aindra Prabhu. He needs a kind of no introduction, but he is the one who has helped Aindra Prabhu in so many projects. Panchagala Prabhu is saying that he makes you smile because as a profession, in his profession, he used to be a dentist, and he has, a kind of renounced all the practices of dentistry, and now he is residing in Sri Radhakund Dham for many years. Prior to that, he was in Barsana, and Aindra Prabhu has played a very, very key and instrumental and very important role to influence his life and many, many more. And Prabhuji is an ocean of so many pastimes and incidents and stories. So I would request Prabhuji.
Adaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Namaste Sripad Aindraya Namarasa Vinodine Nitai Janva Sarvasva Shri Radha Swasara Sangine. So on this most auspicious appearance day of our beloved Sripad Aindra Prabhu, I would just like to share 3-4 things from the ocean of pearls of association that we got in the association of Aindra Prabhu. So I'm kind of just repeating what I really heard and learned from him. First of all, Aindra Prabhu was once telling us that the appearance of their lordships and the appearance of the devotees is non-different in one sense. And then he quoted this verse, which was his one of very favorite ones from Chaitanya Charitamrita, about the appearance, about the reason for appearance of Sriman Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Aindra Prabhu said that, Prema Rasa Niryasa Korite Aswadana Rag Marg Bhakti Loke Karit Prachar Shri Krishna Rasika Shekhara Krishna Parama Karuna Ei Dui Ichha Karana Hoite Udgama. So basically, the main reason for the Lord's appearance, which Aindra Prabhu said is also not different from the appearance of his devotees, is to first of all internally relish the transcendental mellows of prema, premamayi seva, to the lotus feet of their Ishta, Sri Sri Radha Shyam Sundar. And along with this internal relishment of their exchange of these mellows with the Yugal, at the same time it is a natural expression of the devotees to then kindly share these mellows with others. And that is how they are able to spread through Ragmarg what they are truly experiencing in their internal bhajan. So very rightly we could see that how Aindra Prabhu was in his own internal bhajan very fixed and relishing the deepest mellows in his own bhajan to his Ishta Sri Sri Radha Shyam Sundar, to his dear Nitai Sachisuta. And then as a natural expression of his own internal bhajan, we could see that this was very much expressed in his kirtans. And all the devotees who somehow came in contact with Aindra Prabhu through his kirtans or through his discourses or personal darshan association, they could very much be blessed by this spontaneous attraction to the lotus feet of their lordships. One time I am reminded, while we were very mercifully engaged by their divine will and mercy in printing and publishing of Aindra Prabhu's book, The Heart of Transcendental Book Distribution. So when the very first the manuscript it came out, so there were two copies. One was with Aindra Prabhu and the other one was with me, and both of us were supposed to go through a sort of proofreading. So after about a week or so, when I came to Vrindavan, Aindra Prabhu was standing in front of Sri Sri Radha Shyam Sundar taking darshan, and then I went close to him and offered my pranams to him. So instantly Aindra Prabhu, he asked me, "Did you get a chance, Radha Madhav, did you get a chance to go through the book?" So I said, "Yes, Aindra Prabhu, we've gone through." So he said, "Have you come to the third chapter?" The book, if some of you have read and if those of you have not read, it has 4 chapters named the Heartfelt Effusions. So he said, "Have you come across the third chapter yet?" So I said, "No, not as yet. I'm just finished with the second one." He said, "Oh, okay. The reason why I asked you was that somehow when you read the third chapter, you will know that although not so much willing, but somehow my Nitai Sachisuta have forced me to express the most internal exchange of my bhajan in this chapter through my book." He said, "Because since the time of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, no one has really opened about one's own internal bhajan so openly, sharing it for the benefit of others." So basically what he was referring, which I later read and realized to some extent by his mercy, that Aindra Prabhu, through his bhajan, he had realized his Swarup completely. He has reached the stage of complete perfection, and not only that he has realized his name in the Nitya Leela, but also his Premamayi Seva, Nitya Seva to Sri Sri Radha Krishna. So many times, sometimes it's actually without the mercy of such great personalities, it is almost impossible to understand who they really are and have have really some good idea about what is their transcendental position. And sometimes Aindra Prabhu, although he was expressing and sharing the greatest expressions of Vedic literatures such as Srimad Bhagavatam, but sometimes because of our lack of understanding, we don't understand them and we rather completely misunderstand them. At the Disappearance Day festival celebrations of Srila Prabhupada in 2009, when Aindra Prabhu said that, as Panchagauda Prabhu also mentioned, that he said that, when he repeatedly said to hell with and to hell with, which is a part of his book, he was actually sharing with us the greatest secrets of Srimad Bhagavatam, which actually meant that what is the use of everything, whatever it may be, if one has not attained really, that transcendental love and attachment for the lotus feet of Sri Radhesham Sundar, if one has not realized that kirtan is our bhajan, and if one has not realized really, the importance of staying and practicing devotional service in Sri Vrindavan Dham. So basically speaking, what we understand that there is no discrepancy, there is no difference between the expressions and the speeches and teachings of a Param Vaishnava, a Bhakta Bhagavat, and the Grantha Bhagavat. So Aindra Prabhu is truly one such great personality, and we all are very fortunate that somehow our lives became completely blessed by his presence. One or two things more quickly. I'm remembered of one more thing that I'd like to share with you. This is the last time I met him in his room, just 5 days before he entered Nitya Leela. This is on Sunday, 11th of July, and 16th July, Aindra Prabhu entered Nitya Leela. So there was one devotee which I remember who was visiting India. He must be of Indian origin, but he was based in Sharjah somewhere, and he visited Aindra Prabhu with his 9-10-year-old son, and we were in the room. He came for darshan, and he was first of all sharing with Aindra Prabhu how his life has completely changed by hearing Aindra Prabhu's kirtan and taking his association actually from a distance. But then he was giving a report that by your mercy we are trying to do kirtan and have regular programs while I'm in Sharjah. The environment is not very conducive, but we are trying our best. And he went on for a while, and then he asked for blessings for himself and his son, that maybe by your blessings we may continue to spread the holy name as you always inspire us. So I was always very, very much impressed at how Aindra Prabhu really replied. And when he replied, I always felt in my heart that only you can say something like this, Aindra Prabhu. So to this, Aindra Prabhu replied to this particular devotee. He said, what's the use of trying to spread the holy name like this? What's the use of doing Nam Sankirtan like this? I think rather than making this not so perfect attempt to spread the holy names, it would be much better that you rather cry at the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna and first develop some real prema in your heart. He said, because until and unless you have your Ishta, the Yugal, Sri Radha Krishna, take the position of the Paramatma in your heart. What he meant was that he was telling them that you kindly try to be pure devotees first of all yourself. And then what will happen is that the divine couple, being attracted to your pure devotional mentality, will come and take the position from the Paramatma in your heart, and willingly the Paramatma will give the seat to the Ishta now, the Yugal Kishore in your heart, and will leave your heart, and then the divine couple are now the Ishta and present as the deities in your heart. And he was quoting through Srimad Bhagavatam scriptures how this happens. This is, Lord Brahma in his Stuti from the third canto. And then he said, when you have the Ishta in your heart like this, then there will be no, then there will be not so much need for you to really go and request people to come and join the kirtan. Rather, the super soul, the Paramatma in the heart of all the living entities will drag them, because they want to have the darshan of the super soul, wants to have the super soul in the heart of all the living entities, wants to have darshan of the divine couple sitting in your heart now. So I was very much impressed the way Aindra Prabhu would take it, to completely another level. And he was trying to impress, he was trying to share this thing with this particular devotee. If we are able to really embrace Krishna Bhakti to our heart, then naturally everyone will be inspired to follow. So dear friends, Aindra Prabhu always shared this with us, and he particularly told me this particular thing, this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the last thing I want to share with you today. But the real essence and the import of this verse, I realize only upon physically being separated from Sripad Aindra Prabhu. So Aindra Prabhu said that the most difficult thing to overcome in this world is attachment, rag, attachment to this world, attachment to our body, and then attachment to our loved ones and everything in this world, rag. But he said the beauty is the most important, and the blessed thing is also attachment. And then he used to tell us this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, wherein Kapil Dev is telling Mother Devahuti that prasangam ajaram pasham atmanam kavyo vidu, that this pash, this attachment is the most difficult to get over with. The bodies can be burned, but the attachment to this world cannot be destroyed. So it is that kind of a bond. But he says the same bond, Kapil Dev says in the next line, that sa eva sadhu shokrito mukti dwaram apavritam. But if the same attachment you are able to somehow develop to the lotus feet of a pure devotee of Sri Sri Radhesham, then that same attachment opens the doors of liberation to you wide open. So I had heard this, we heard this many times from Aindra Prabhu and from so many devotees, but only after losing him in one sense, externally, did we realize that knowingly or unknowingly, somehow if you're getting attached to the lotus feet of a devotee, then the doors of liberation are wide open. So I hope that really this attachment may continue to grow, because sometimes by their appearance and other times by their disappearance, the devotees, they actually inconceivably, uncontrollably help us get closer and closer to the divine couple. And that's what Aindra Prabhu did to the lives of so many devotees, and will continue to do, that somehow being attached to him, we are also getting directly and indirectly attached to Sri Sri Radhe Shyam Sundar. So maybe the time is limited, and maybe we'll discuss and share with you some other things next time. And I want to now request other devotees to kindly come and share their experiences with Aindra Prabhu. Sripad Aindra Prabhu ki jai.
Publication of the Heart of Transcendental Book Distribution, and that book came out after his disappearance, although you had it before. Can you say a little bit about that, how you were very, very much involved in that publication?
If I want to share with you quickly how this really happened, I was so much in awe of Aindra Prabhu, seeing him from a distance, hearing him in his kirtan, and then somehow our two close friends, Giridhari Prabhu and Anasuya Mataji, and then also another Prabhu Brahmachari in the temple. So somehow, once through Girdhari Prabhu, I received a CD, a recordings of lectures that Aindra Prabhu gave, and this is one of the time that Aindra Prabhu is speaking Krishna Katha in the temple, and Aindra Prabhu is so wonderfully narrating the exchange of rasa between the Sakhis and Radha and Krishna. But coming to the point that probably all of us, and you must have heard this thing, that Aindra Prabhu breaks down during this katha, and he is crying almost uncontrollably, and then he tries to control his emotions, and then requests everyone that please forgive me, and there is more, and then he continues, and then he's laughing and he's crying in the same katha. This was, when I heard this, it somehow created a very deep impact on us, and I was like so much desperately wanting to be in touch with Aindra Prabhu, and I was in my own way praying to Srimati Radharani that somehow if I can have any opportunity to get his association, then I would be like really very grateful. And not later than that, just a few weeks or so, Girdhari Prabhu mentioned to me that Aindra Prabhu is working on his book for several years and he wants to publish it. So he said, if you can kindly, extend some help or anything, it will be nice, because Aindra Prabhu doesn't come and stay outside of the dham very much. And since you are in Delhi, then you can kindly help him out. So this is, soon after that is Radha Ashtami. And then we come for Radha Ashtami, and after, Aindra Prabhu is singing the kirtan in Radha Ashtami, and then as soon as he finishes, literally the first time I go close to him all by myself, sitting on the ground, Aindra Prabhu is still sitting there in front in the temple hall, and then I kindly request him that, I heard that you're working on your book, and if there's any kind of help I can offer, it will be really our great pleasure and fortune. So to which Aindra Prabhu just immediately said, thank you. And he kind of closed that discussion. So I was wondering that, whether there will be an opportunity to approach him again. And just after a pause of few seconds, which felt like, a long time, he said, what kind of help? And then I said, anything, like to go to the press or running around in Delhi. And to which he said, okay, after the arati, come to my room. So then I want to share with you humbly that was the transformation of our life, like in one sense. So I went to Aindra Prabhu's room, and then we discussed everything, and he showed me, and he also discussed the dream he had of Srila Prabhupada, wherein Srila Prabhupada had personally twice actually asked him to write a book on the book distribution. And then Aindra Prabhu, when he came out of the dream next day, he was wondering that, I have no experience of writing a book, and that too a book on distribution. So what kind of a book really Srila Prabhupada wants? And then on subsequent dream and other things, Aindra Prabhu got a very clear idea that Srila Prabhupada wanted him to, write about something about the essence of the book distribution really. So through his mercy, we came in contact by the divine arrangement, and then it was particularly the last 3 years from 2007-8 up till 2010 that we had this great fortune of Aindra Prabhu's association. Many times he came to Delhi, almost more than 15-18 times he visited Delhi for overseeing the publication of the book. But of course, he never stayed the night over, because he would never spend a night out of the dham. But almost every time that he came to Delhi, we were fortunate that he visited our house, and we would have some discussion, some prasad, and sometimes some kirtan. And lastly, one time, we had a request from the Delhi temple. Devotees were asking us that maybe if you can ask Aindra Prabhu to visit the temple for kirtan. So when I asked Aindra Prabhu, he said, "You really think that, they want us to come?" Because sometimes he felt that, because I'm speaking about Dham Vas and Sri Vrindavan Vas, sometimes people are not really, understanding my viewpoint. And so I said, "No, Prabhuji, everyone is really very keen that you come." And I want to share with you, Mataji, that he agreed. And when we were to go for Kirtan to Delhi temple, so while we left from the press, which is on the outskirts of Delhi, and we phoned the Delhi temple that Aindra Prabhu is coming. And as soon as we approached near the temple, I called them again. We were repeatedly getting calls. And Prabhuji, almost like few hundred meters from the temple, there was a huge crowd of devotees. They had mobbed the street in front of Sri Sri Radha Partha Sarthi, and they were literally falling on the car, and everybody was with mridanga, harmonium and kirtan and singing Aindra Prabhu's melodies. Aindra Prabhu was almost in tears, and he was overwhelmed at how much devotees actually loved him and how much he's able to somehow inspire them for kirtan. And it was a mini riot in the Delhi temple, as if some great celebrity had come to the temple. And then Aindra Prabhu, he did kirtan for about an hour and a half, and then he spoke for an hour, and then he did kirtan for another half an hour, and it was almost way past midnight. And devotees, Amal and few other devotees were accompanying him, and they hadn't had anything since morning, because Aindra Prabhu, there was no concept of eating or anything for him. So everybody was famished, and then Aindra Prabhu waited while everybody took prasad, but he did not take even a drop of water, literally, because he said, "I haven't done deity worship for my deities, and I cannot honor any prasad like that." So he went back like that, and then he told me the next day that we reached at 3:30. I quickly offered bhoga to my deities, and before there was really some time for me to eat, it was sunrise, and I have my vow now not to eat after sunrise. So he went off to sleep like that, and then that's how, so it's an ocean of, really these wonderful pastimes that we can hear about Aindra Prabhu. But we all are very, very fortunate that somehow on this day in Sri Vrindavan Dham, we all of us are here. And Aindra Prabhu said that whoever assists me in this Nam Sankirtan, he is sure to join me in the transcendental rasa dance, the rasa leela of Radha and Krishna. So only we can hope that humbly we may continue to follow his teachings, his instructions, and that is our great fortune, really. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
So, such a nectarian offering you gave. I do remember that lecture which Prabhuji is telling. It was something around 2000 or 2001 Radhashtami lecture, when actually Aindra Prabhu was reading from Sri Prema Samputa. I was fortunate enough to be in that lecture. And he started reading that Krishna is addressing Srimati Radharani, that before you is a lampata rascal who just keeps on following all the young girls of Braj. Before you is this, that, and then finally the line comes, before you is the mascara of your own eyes. And then actually he breaks into tears. So, and there was a pin drop silence at the temple hall. There's so much, the temple hall was really full, and pin drop silence, everybody was just, and Aindra was so kind of embarrassed that he just tried to compose himself a lot, but finally when he was able to, then he just immediately changed the discussion into humor. He continued reading, as Prabhuji was saying, but he just changed it to humor, and he was just kept on giggling, laughing, and reading the same chapter again. So that was Aindra Prabhu, yes. And I do remember, as Prabhuji was telling, Delhi, yes, I remember that time, and it was kind of a mini riot in ISKCON Delhi. Everybody wants to be with Aindra Prabhu physically and be in touch with him. Okay, yes, Aindra Prabhu is there. There's another incident I do remember. There was a New Year Eve, 31st December, and Aindra Prabhu was invited in Delhi, Pitampura. There was a huge, Paschim Vihar, yes, exactly, Paschim Vihar. So huge pandal, huge means huge, at least this size, maybe 20 times bigger than this, that size of pandal. And there was a Hare Krishna rock kirtan that time. And the last kirtan was Aindra Prabhu's kirtan. Believe me, as soon as Aindra Prabhu just entered with his crew, the Vrindavan team, there was one devotee, I don't know if the many devotees who are living in Krishna Balaram temple for many years, there used to be one devotee, Danveer Das. Okay, he was in Saffron Brahmachari, a little old devotee. And on the Hare Krishna rock, it was really impossible for Aindra Prabhu to conceive that he was with the mic on the stage and says, hey, look, Tanvir is on the stage with the mic in his hands. And everybody in the team actually started laughing a lot. And it poured like anything. It was raining so heavy, but the devotees, like visitors, so many people outside, young boys and girls, they were like crazily dancing in that rain kirtan, heavy kirtan. There was a power blow off and so many things were, but without even sound system, just Aindra Prabhu continued, and it was such a powerful kirtan. Yes, that's Aindra Prabhu's potency. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for sharing all this. Now, I will request Her Grace Gauramani Mataji to kindly come forward. Param Prabhu and Gauramani Mataji had a long-term association with Aindra Prabhu, so many nice exchanges, stories they have to share. By the time Mataji comes and takes her seat, I will request Giriraj Prabhu to kindly read the excerpt.
Here, my obeisances to all the senior Vaishnavas, all of the beautiful brothers, sisters, sons, and daughters. What a beautiful family Aindra Prabhu has given us. So many memories come to mind, and it's a day of great joy and celebration because the pure devotee of the Lord, very dear servant of our beloved Srila Prabhupada, was born on this planet to transform the lives of hundreds of thousands, not just devotees that were in his party, but the youth. And I unfortunately still think I'm the youth. But I remember in the 90s, because Aindra Prabhu was the savior for us, the second generation. Those of us who were born and raised in the movement and who studied under Srila Prabhupada's Gurukul system, the ISKCON Gurukul, we were not allowed to listen to any mundane music. It was only Srila Prabhupada that was allowed to be in our homes. So when Aindra Prabhu began his 24-hour kirtan, that was in 1986. I think that was the same year my little brother, Amal, was born, right? He was born in 87. That's when all the magical children of Lord Chaitanya were born. So around that time, Aindra Prabhu's kirtan came to America. We were only allowed to listen to Srila Prabhupada. And when we played his kirtan recordings, there was a big rumor that there's this great devotee who's singing, but some people said, we think he's drunk when he sings, because he sings like he's intoxicated with Krishna prema. And so then we were just a bunch of girls in North Carolina at that time, and we weren't sure if we were allowed to listen to somebody who's drunk when they sing. But it was our favorite kirtan. And my first kirtan that I remember hearing was, I will sing the tune because I remember it. It's like this. It goes, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. You guys want to sing with me? Yeah? All together, everybody? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, with your hands in the air, calling out to Shri Radha and Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One more time, everyone. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Bolo bolo. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Aindra Prabhu gave us such an ocean of nectar. And there was one instruction that he gave to me right before I began chanting in the streets of the different parts of the world. He saw me one day after he was leading kirtan in the temple, the Krishna Bharam temple. And he was passing through from his room to the temple, and he stopped and he had his Aindra Prabhu harmonium on, and he said, "You're singing outside of Prabhupada's Samadhi." And like Mother Kamalini said, he was known not to like the girls, but actually, he told me, he said, "I hear you singing, and I want you to go out and preach everywhere." And that was the beginning of our kirtan. And he told me this, and I had it written down, and I see this quote now everywhere. He said, "You can die at any time. When you chant your 16 rounds, you should think, this is my last chance to cry for the mercy of Radha and Krishna. And when you come to the last round, you should think, this is my last chance to please Radha and Krishna. And when you come to the last mantra of the last round, chant in a way that they are convinced. And when you come to the last Hare, if Krishna did not hear me with all these mantras, let me call Radharani like my last breath, and then we should chant another 16 rounds in that same mood. Tunde tandavani ratim vitanute tundavali labdhaye karna krodha kadambini ghatayate karnarbudebhya spriha cheta prangana sangini vijayate sarvendriyanam kritim no jane janita ki yadbir amritai Krishni Varnadvaye. So Aindra Prabhu left us on a material plane. It was for us who were here at that time like the end of our lives. So much pain, so much sorrow. We were all together in Toronto for Rath Yatra. There were many of his dear children, dear friends, all of the 24-hour Kirtan boys who were part of his party, Madhava Prabhu, Gopal Das, Akinchana Prabhu. I think Amal was also there. We were there. We had all been invited for the Rath Yatra festival. We got the news that my husband was on the phone, and it's a very tragic event for us in this material world, and I don't think we want to remember that painful time. But when I came back to Vrindavan, I had no desire again. I said, I can't listen to his kirtan anymore without breaking down, because for us, He was Vrindavan. We had no Vrindavan when he left. But there is one thing that I forgot, and I want to share that with all of you. Just like Krishna never left Vrindavan, Aindra Prabhu is still here. How is he still here? He's here through all of you. When I see all of you, I think, wow, this is Aindra Prabhu's mercy, love, and external manifestation of praying. And so Aindra Prabhu is living here forever with all of us, through you and you and you and all of you. So all he would want to say is, please chant Shuddha Nam. Please chant the holy names with a pure heart. Cry for Krishna. So one last time, please raise your hands and let us cry how Aindra Prabhu would want us to cry. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
So Gadagaj Prabhu, I think he has something very important to share with us.
I'll tell you. So Amal Harinam, he was one of Aindra's mridanga players. So he thought he was going back to America. So I saw him at the airport, and he starts crying. He starts crying. He couldn't leave Aindra in Vrindavan. He starts crying, and I knew why he was crying. And he said, I can't go. And he went back. He was supposed to go. He's at the airport. He's supposed to fly out, right? He didn't go. He came back to Vrindavan. He gave up his ticket. He didn't even, because he couldn't leave. That's what it was like. Came back to Vrindavan. Ticket. Oh yeah.
Motels, whatever. That time it wasn't like that. It was to be very, very austere. Even to get a room with a basic, very, very basic facility used to be a very big challenge. Okay, so I used to request Aindra Prabhu if I could stay in the ashram. So there was one time my brother and myself, we just stayed for almost like 1 week in the ashram. He kindly allowed us, and he came to the gate 3 times. There was a net on the door, and he peeped and he said, minimum 16 rounds and 4 regulative principles. Then he left. Okay. He said, okay. Then I don't know, after a few seconds he again came. 16 rounds and 4 regulative principles. Right? Me and my brother were looking at each other. Yeah. Yes, Prabhuji. Okay. Then after 2-3 minutes he again came. We thought, okay, now we can relax. He knocked. He said, 16 rounds minimum and 4 regulative principles. Then there was one devotee who used to just kindly give his room or share his room with us. Adiras Prabhu, if you remember. Adiras. So he said, don't worry. He is very kind at heart. He's just showing that he is very heavy. Just don't worry. So yes, and after that trip, or maybe some other trip, I don't remember. When I was going, I just went to Aindra Prabhu. The Prabhuji, I'm going back to Delhi. Then first thing he said, helly smelly Delhi. What are you going to do in Delhi? I was like bewildered. I said, I have college. What nonsense college? Then he said, if you are leaving Vrindavan and you don't have tears in your eyes, that means you never came to Vrindavan. That's what his mood was. So he is a transcendental devotee. So I will request now Padmavati Mataji to kindly come forward. Padmavati Mataji also had many sweet, nice, kind interactions with Aindra Prabhu. And by the time Mataji takes seat, I'll request Giriraj Prabhu to kindly continue reading.
He would challenge, where does this idea come from? What is the reference? And he would keep pressing the issue until the speaker had
Om Gyanat Mirandasya Vinamsya Shalakaya
Chakshurumritanina tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Can you hear me? Hare Krishna. Thank you to Ranya Vihari Prabhu. He has forced me to speak because I'm always so shy, but he has given me opportunity to glorify such wonderful personality like Aindra Prabhu. I'm so much missing him, so that it's so difficult to speak for me. Because for many years I'm just living in the temple in the ashram, and for so many years we had so much association with Aindra Prabhu, doing seva together in the deity department. You know, the Aindra Prabhu was dressing the Radhishyam deities, and his kirtans, his lectures, and many programs. And Aindra Prabhu every day was given the kirtan in the temple evening time, and after kirtan for 2-3 hours he was preaching. Like, he couldn't go out from the temple because so many devotees, so many visiting people was approaching to him for association. And there was given some questions to Aindra Prabhu, and he was answering, he was preaching, he was explaining. And it was most favorite part of the day for me. At almost every day I was just running after 7 o'clock to see where is Aindra Prabhu standing there near the temple and answering the questions and preaching to the people. And I'm always was standing behind Aindra Prabhu and listening. And there's so many wonderful scenes I was listening from him that time, because he was given not so many classes in the temple, because management was a little bit embarrassed with him, because when he was starting, just like classes restricted for 1 hour from 8 to 9, maybe 9:30, like somebody. But when Aindra Prabhu was given class, it was like 9, 10, 11, 12. And some Prabhu approaching to Aindra Prabhu, Prabhuji, please, maybe you will finish class because we have Arati now. He said, oh, already I have so many topics to speak more. He was full of transcendental knowledge, this nectar was flowing. I was telling the last time how was one time he was given class in the Gurukul. That time I was teaching in the Gurukul, and he was given class, and that class was more like 6 hours. And it was so much nectar. I remember it was topic as difference between the mood of the gopis and manjaris. Very sublime topics, and was so much nectar, but so many hours, and everybody was tired, Aindra Prabhu was half lying because the back was pain, and around him the Prabhu also was half lying, sitting like this, and he was put his hand like this, and he was speaking completely transcendental to his position. He's just lying, but so much nectar was coming from him. And every day I was just hurry up for this nectar when he was finishing the kirtan. And always he was carrying his harmonium on the back, mostly on the left side. And all time I was worried about it. He's standing near the temple preaching for 2-3 hours and carry this big harmonium. And one time I told the, what's his name, Kalindi's brother, Radha Krishna Prabhu, I told him, Prabhuji, can somebody carry the Aindra Prabhu harmonium when he's preaching, because he's heavy. He said, no, Mataji, he will not give. He was trying so many times, he's not given. And he said one time, one Prabhu was forcing to take this mridanga harmonium. He was pulling this mridanga harmonium to him, and Aindra Prabhu was pulling back. He said, I will not give. It was his eternal concert, like harmonium. Yes. He was never, always, he was standing before deities, sometimes talking to Mukunda Prabhu. They was discussing how to dress deities. And always harmonium was with him, always. And it was so much fun also with Aindra Prabhu. He was so serious lectures. He was so sublime, so serious about preaching the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mission. And the same time, sometimes I was listening his class and my mind was blowing, like it was so sublime, so serious. And then on the middle of this, he was telling something very, very funny, and everybody was laughing so much for long. It was Aindra Prabhu. Yeah, it was always was so much fun. Yeah, I think who was that time remembers so many this story, so much fun with Aindra Prabhu. Few times he was stopping just kirtan because somebody was not playing nice karatals, and like it's very ecstatic kirtan, and then why are you playing like this? And he stopped the kirtan. Who teach you play like this? He stopped the kirtan, took the karatal, and all the microphone is all on, and you can hear the whole temple. And he took the karatal and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You have to play like this. 1, 2, 3. Who teach you play like this? And just like 10-15 minutes, everybody sitting, waiting, looking. And then he said, okay, start. And kirtan is going, and everybody was so laughing. I remember one time I was there on the kirtan when he was shouting like this, and Prabhu, and we was laughing like 1 hour for whole kirtan. So much, so much fun was. I like all this fun with Aindra Prabhu because he was so much serious, and at the same time he has so much fun with him. It was so nice. And yeah, I remember one Vesa Puja. I believe it was Giridhari Prabhu house. Not remember exactly. And it was so many senior devotees. Aindra Prabhu was sitting there, talking with them. And we were sitting with Mataji, like for a long time he was talking, and then Mataji telling, oh, something boring, where is fun? Where is fun for Aindra Prabhu? And then Prasadam started. We were sitting, and they started distribute. Some devotees started to distribute prasadam, and it was pakora, big, very beautiful, very crispy, tasty, looks tasty pakora. And Mataji telling, oh, so nice pakora, give us. They took took 2, 3, 4 pakoras, oh Mataji. And then when they just started to eat this pakora, it was chili pakora. From everywhere I was feeling like, it was so spicy. It was so spicy. It was so much fun with Aindra Prabhu. So many nice pastimes with him every day, and I was missing him so much for so many years. I can see him every day and have some association, and still is 15 years now it's passed, but still we are missing him so much. And I'm so glad now this new generation of Kirtaniyas, they're so serious. I see sometimes in the Kirtan, they're singing so nice, they're so serious to carry the Aindra Prabhu mission and Lord Chaitanya mission and Srila Prabhupada mission, and his desire to have the 24-hour Kirtan in the temple. And so many nice Kirtaniyas now. Aranya Vihari Prabhu is always so ecstatic, always so blissful. And, so many nice Kirtaniyas, these 2 brothers, Smita Krishna Prabhu and Sarat Vihari Prabhu. When I hearing them, this is amazing. And we have our temple president, Panchagauda Prabhu, who is singing every day in the Kirtan. This is also so much inspiring. And Muktidatta Prabhu, he is amazing, And so many Janardana Maharaj, and so many another Akinchana Krishna Prabhu, he is my favorite, actually. So many wonderful Kirtaniyas, so many wonderful singers, and I am so happy just you carry so nice this Aindra Prabhu's mission, and I think he's very happy with you, just you are doing so nice. And I believe I wish so much to meet Aindra Prabhu in the spiritual world. So much missing him. And one time Srila Prabhupada said, just we will have ISKCON in the spiritual world, and we will meet together there. And so many nice devotees the last few years passed, and Gopal Krishna Maharaj, Brahmananda Prabhu, and so many nice devotees, and I'm feeling like just, I'm so eager to go to spiritual world, to meet him there, to meet them, all them there in the spiritual world. And just few days ago, one Russian devotee left the body. He was very nice, old devotee, and Bhakti Govinda Maharaj, he wrote some, he post some post in the internet, and he was writing there, just let us give our love for those who is around us, because when they will leave us, we have to wait for a long time to meet them again. Jai Srila Aindra Prabhu ki Jai.
I think there was like 3 men, 4 women, and they all the ladies took off their high heels, and the men took off their fancy shoes, and they put them there on the side, and they came in, and Aindra was just starting to, get that Aindra build-up flavor going, and all of them were just captivated by Aindra, by all of his men, by the devotees. By then, devotees were standing up and doing the Swami step. They were all, glued into the nectar that was flowing from Aindra Prabhu and his men, and that whole area where we always feel Aindra Prabhu's presence. So they started tapping their fingers and their toes, and I showed them where the Maha Mantra was. And you know how when people are just learning the mantra, it's like, Hare Rama, Rama Hari, Krishna Hari. So it was kind of like that. But then they got the rhythm of it, and you could see they felt very satisfied when they didn't have to look at the mantra banner anymore. So then they started chanting, and then they were dancing, and I was thinking, well, maybe they would come and stay for maybe 10, 15 minutes, and then they would go to their nightclub in Agra, but they stayed all the way up to midnight. Aindra Prabhu's potency was such that he could just take somebody's, conditioning, like Srila Prabhupada was saying in class the other day. Our Krishna consciousness is always there, but we're just covered. So we uncover that conditioning by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And Aindra Prabhu was such an amazing example. I like to say is an example, because his presence is still so much there, of the potency and the solace, the shelter of the holy name, and how it just takes over your consciousness. And I've seen this so many times with non-devotees, and I'm sure all of you have as well. And what about with our own hearts? How some days we can be having, what we might call, a day of adversities or challenges. And then as soon as we come into the temple, we sit under the tamal tree, or we just start swaying with the wonderful kirtaniyas who have taken up this service for Aindra Prabhu. There's something that happens to the consciousness, to the heart. You feel uplifted. And I saw this in our Italian guest that night, and they stayed past midnight. Happy New Year! Hare Krishna New Year! They were all, and Aindra Prabhu, he happened to see them, and he was like, that smile that he had that was from ear to ear, and his eyes would just blaze with joy. And he would take his hand, and encourage us to dance. So he saw them, and he took his hand, and that just made them even dance more. And they stayed all the way till like 12:30 at least. And then they all came over, and they were not only thanking me, but thanking all the other devotees that they had kind of connected with during the kirtan. And it was just so, Prabhupada really has given us something so transcendental. Prabhupada started the 24-hour kirtan program, and our dear Aindra Prabhu, he came and he took up that mission that Prabhupada started to keep the 24-hour kirtan of Hare Krishna going all day and all night. Sometimes at night, you can have maybe a little insomnia, but you turn on ITV and there they are chanting in a very soft, melodious way. And Krishna and Balaram, they get their little lullaby at night. It's very wonderful what the 24-hour kirtaniyas are doing. The other memory I have of Aindra Prabhu that just comes to mind is he had published his book, and it was quite controversial. And for simple people like myself, it was a little hard to understand. But anyway, the controversies were like continuing, and then we was a couple of us with Aindra Prabhu, and we said, why don't we put a silver little banner on the corner of the book, banned by the GVC. And he was, I'll just never forget how he was laughing and laughing. And of course we wouldn't really do that. It was a joke. But Aindra Prabhu had a mood that was outside the box, to put that mildly. You would see him chanting late at night in the MVT shop. Many of the outside shopwallas still have very fond affection of Aindra Prabhu. They considered him to be a genuine Baba, austere, completely dependent on the mercy of the holy name, and completely dependent on the mercy of his guru, Srila Prabhupada. And yes, and Radhe Shyam, I'm sure they miss him in the morning, coming to dress them. And our dear Adi Keshava Prabhu has a very amazing story of how that whole Leela happened that morning. Okay, my dear devotees, we're here at the stage and trying to do our service here. Please forgive any offenses, mistakes, my limitations. And dear Aindra Prabhu, please, if I could just have one drop of the faith that you have in chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And all you 24-hour kirtan boys, heads up, big shower of flower petals, maha rose petals, falling down on you. Hare Krishna, Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Aindra Prabhu.
Jai. Asgas Mahadevi Mataji ki Jai. Thank you, Mataji. So I will request Mahabhagat Prabhu. By the time he takes seat, Prabhu, please read.
Practical action. But Prabhupada still oversaw things and kept everything on track and moving forward.
All glories to Sripad Aindra Prabhu. I offer my most humble obeisances to Aindra Prabhu Lotus Feet. All glories to Sripad Aindra Prabhu, such a dedicated disciple of Srila Prabhupada and Sri Yugdharma Harinam Sankirtan. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur wrote, he reasons ill who tells that Vaishnavas die, when thou art living still in sound. The Vaishnavas die to live, and living try to spread the holy name around. Meaning the quote suggests that those who are devoted to Krishna do not truly die, but rather their influence and the teachings they spread continue to live on through the holy name and the spiritual community. As we see by Aindra Prabhu, life and example, millions of people getting inspired and engaged in Harinam Sankirtan through the holy name and the spiritual throughout the whole world. Thanks Aindra Prabhu for being our real spiritual mentor, father and mother. Thanks for giving us the service in Sri Vrindavan Dham at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada, Shri Shri Nitai Sachisuta Krishna Balaram and Shri Shri Radha Shyamasundar. Thanks for bringing us real state of consciousness to chant the Nam Sankirtan. Thanks for all your sacrifices and austerities to please Srila Prabhupada and Radhe Shyam. Thanks for being a real Brajavasi, true saint, and by your mercy and the blessings, many, many generations of devotees are coming to serve in Sri Vrindavan Dham. Your immense dedication inspires me to take a shelter of Sri Harinam Sankirtan and Shri Shri Nitai Sachisuta service. You are the main force and the heartbeat of 24-hour Sankirtan Mandali of Shri Shri Krishna Balaram Temple. I truly believe that you will bring millions of souls to 24-hour Kirtan in coming centuries in the future. So here are some incidents. When I remember how you were chanting Kirtan breathlessly 9 hours on Govardhan Puja Day in 2009 for one devotee who was leaving a body. You never wasted a single breath of your life without Harinam chanting. You completely left eating and sleeping and were within and chanting 2 lakhs a day. He put it a notice board outside the chit on his door that do not disturb me. And he used to chant 2 lakhs a day. And basically he completely gave up eating and sleeping and everything. Such a like a deeply absorbed in the Nam Sankirtan. And he had taken a vow like unless he finishes deity worship and his 2 lakhs a day, he wouldn't touch a drop of water. And sometimes he would fast for 3 days, 3 days, 4 days like that. So I remember was a wonderful his birthdays in 2009 and 2010. Right across the Goshala street, right there near on the Prem Kishore Prabhu farm, Maharaj farm, we used to celebrate birthdays. And Aindra Prabhu, yeah, he was engaging us in the cooking, different preps, and for his birthday. And such a wonderful love he has for his god brothers and for younger generation that he would personally serve them, but he wouldn't honor the prasad, he wouldn't eat. After the birthday, he would just straight run to his service for chanting the beautiful kirtan at every evening, even like after his birthday. And one time in 2009, every end of Chaturmas Rath, which Aindra Prabhu was following since he moved to Vrindavan, since 1986, he every year would follow complete fast, complete grain fast for Chaturmas. And at the end of Chaturmas, Kartik Purnima, he was so happy. He wanted to serve the devotees. He wanted to feed everyone. Such a nice, offered prasad to his Nitai Sachisuta. And since he had really no attachment for anything, for eating, sleeping, except the Nam. I remember Amal Harinam when we being together, and all the youth inspired me, and today still the coming generations are inspiring me so much to continue always at the feet of Aindra Prabhu. I remember the 2009 Mahafeast in the Kartik. Aindra Prabhu, he went to the Mangalartik and invited all the Prabhupada disciples and God brothers and Matajis and Prabhus. He made such a wonderful facilities, like on the first floor of the old Gurukul building, and the Matajis were getting served prasadam down in the first floor, and all the Maharaj and sannyasis and Prabhupada disciples and the Prabhus were getting the prasad served and on the Aindra Prabhu corridor. And Aindra Prabhu was personally serving each one with so much love, and he wouldn't eat. And I saw him around like 1 a.m. after the feast, midnight. He's washing all the big pots, and can I help you? He said, no, I'm so fallen, let me do this service. I said, Aindra Prabhu, at least honor prasad, you have done Chaturmas Vrat, when you will break? He said, once the whole everything will be clean, then I will honor the prasad. But one occasion I remember, in Aindra Prabhu room, somebody came and offered some Radharaman Mahaprasad, and Aindra Prabhu was so absorbed, still in chanting in his bhajan, so deeply absorbed, he completely forgot. He kept that Radharaman, that how you call it, sweet kheer, on some rack, and it was still staying 4 months. Was completely fungus on it. He could never. And one time Gopal Prabhu told me the story that back in the 90s, somebody offered few $1,000s for his deity worship, and it kept for 10 years in the same place. He never touched that. He never touched the money. And there's the last incident I would Yeah, one time we were going with Aindra Prabhu to Delhi for his book printing. Then Aindra Prabhu saw the Vrajvasi flies in the car, and we were right near the Brahman Reti police chowki. And Aindra Prabhu immediately asked to stop the car driver, and he opened the windows and he removed all the flies by saying that we can make aparat to these Vrajvasi flies to bring them to Delhi. Wow, how much your love, Aindra Prabhu, you have for the Vrajvasi. I personally know that you were always loved by all the Vrajvasis. Even after his departure, sometime I would assist in the Pujari service with the Ram Roy Prabhu and Girdhari Prabhu. So they would send me out to get the bogus sweets for the Nitai Sachisuta. I would go to Bharati Sweets, and there's one Maharaj from Tatyastan. He was completely shocked. He just asked me why Aindra Prabhu not coming to buy the sweet. Why Aindra Prabhu would every day walk bare feet. Aindra Prabhu never use any slippers. He would just walk every day. If any one of you have been in Vrindavan, you would notice Aindra Prabhu going every night to buy a bhoga for his deities. So Aindra Prabhu, every Vrajvasi loved him. Even nowadays, if I go to Varshana or visit somewhere, people ask about Aindra Prabhu. Still, the Vrajvasi so much loved him. He said, I just recently been Govardhan, and there's a Raghunath Yogi. He said that a true real Radharani devotee in ISKCON after Prabhupada, that is Aindra Prabhu, he said. So Raghunath Yogi. So there are so many pastimes of Aindra Prabhu that with this material mouth it cannot be described. I need a mercy, but we are short of time. But at the end, on the most auspicious day, I beg for your mercy at your lotus feet, so that I may serve Harinam Sankirtan till my last breath, day and night in Vrindavan Dham. Please accept eternal service of Srila Prabhupada and Srimati Radharani. Without your service, my life completely waste and meaningless. I remember just last there was a very nice time when Aindra Prabhu had so much love for his great god brother, like His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. He got very ill in 2009. And Aindra Prabhu has such a deep heart. He would organize the Harinam Sankirtan, especially would come down temple room every night, and most of the Ekadashi night and Sunday nights we would perform the Sankirtan, especially for his well-being. Aindra Prabhu was continue till midnight 12, and he would ask me, you now continue chant. I wouldn't know even how to chant Hare Krishna, and this I would sincerely would try some mantras. And Aindra Prabhu became so pleased, and he said, I want to see in future you just lead with the pure heart, go deeper, dive deeper into holy name, listen and perform, and bring the pleasure to the heart of Shri Shri Radha Shyam. And another incident, 2 days before his departure, as Aindra Prabhu, he like Radha Shyamananda Maharaj was explaining, in my 2 years in the ashram, I never see the Prabhu slept ever. Whole midnight he's worshipping Nitai Sachisuta, and when you go up after the midnight shift, Kirtan shift, he just want to discuss the whole Bhagavatam till Mangalarati, and it goes every day like this. He said, hey, why are you going to sleep? Let's have a Bhagavatam discussion. Srila Prabhupada has left so much nectar. And then he kept telling that, okay, no worry, even if I leave, I will come back. I will take you. No worry. Just you be here and promise me that you will never leave me. And that impact, that completely changed my life, impacted my life. And from that day, that he gave me that instruction, 2010, 2 days before his departure, and till now, begging at your feet, Aindra Prabhu, please accept eternally and give me empower me to to make Nitai Sachisutta dance and Radharani dance and hope of your mercy. This is the only hope carrying in my heart, to serve you eternally, life after life after life after life into infinite. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Aindra Prabhu. Sripad.
And give your offerings to Aindra Prabhu. And we all know Bhagavad Puran Prabhu is a very, very long-term associate of Sripad Aindra Prabhu. He has so many interactions, so many stories. I think if we just give him mic for maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, still it's going to be endless. But time constraint we have limited time. So maybe 3 to 4 minutes, Prabhu, if you could just inspire us with some nice stories. For someone to re-establish 24-hour Kirtan in Vrindavan, reinstate the Kirtan. Now that chapter is starting. Please.
Vrindavan reached for money to pay their fare. However, his pockets were empty. While he'd been racing through the station's jostling crowd, lugging 2 trunks filled with CDs, sound system, instruments, and personal items, he'd had his pocket picked, and there was nothing left. The bus was leaving, but Aindra, trucks bouncing behind him, managed to jump aboard just as it pulled out into traffic. When the conductor came to collect tickets, Aindra could only fold his hands and plead his case. Please, sir, I just need to go to Vrindavan. Your ticket, the conductor insisted. Please, Aindra begged. I was pickpocketed at the station. They took everything. I have no money. I just need to get back to Vrindavan. Where is your ticket? The conductor repeated. Aindra fell to his knees in tears. Please, he repeated. I just want to go to Vrindavan. Not without a ticket, the conductor insisted. He wouldn't budge. Fortunately for Aindra, some of the passengers sympathized.
Nam Vishnuparaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Satsvarupada Sagoswami Tinamine Satsvarupa Viramande Vinitam Sarvbhushanam Bhakti Grantaranai Punyam Bhakti Granta Shikshitam Nam Vishnuparaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Aindra Das Babajitanamine Namaste Shri Parandraya Nama Rasa Vinodine Nitai Janava Sadva Shashivrasa Sangre Nama Vishnuparaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamine Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavari Paschatya Satarine. His Divine Grace Sripad Aindra Prabhu Ki. So one of the first times that we remember recollecting. I think the first time was meeting Aindra Prabhu, at least in the passing, was in 1989. 1989. And we had come to Vrindavan, maybe it's the first, no, not the first time, the second time. So, yeah, just like any tourist devotee coming to the Holy Dham, there's so many things you have to do and so many places you have to see. And so we had a recording device, and we just walked into the temple room while His Divine Grace was doing kirtan, and we went up to the harmonium and left our recording device there, and we went up to the harmonium and left our recording device on top of the harmonium and left the temple room, because if you're a tourist devotee, you have so many places to see and so many things to do when you come to the Holy Dham. So when we came back, we retrieved the recording device, of course. Back then there weren't so many pilgrims as there are today. As a matter of fact, very few people would come from Delhi, maybe on the weekends. We know that when Srila Prabhupada was on the planet, there was maybe 1 or 2 cars They would pass by the temple on a weekend maybe. Otherwise, there was no traffic as there are today. Traffic as there is today. So that was in 1989. I came a second time to India, and then at that time we were meditating on coming and staying longer. Actually, the first time I came to India was in 1984, and we came in a group of devotees. Actually, we came to Vrindavan first, not to Mayapur, and with His Holiness Naranjana Swami from Boston, Massachusetts, which is my home temple. And as a matter of fact, His Holiness Naranjana Swami, he mercifully shaved us up the first time, personally. So in 1989 we came, that was the second time. That's when I saw Aindra Prabhu the first time and heard him the first time. And then, of course, we had to go back to the West to preach. There's one quote by Aindra Prabhu. How does it go? It says, what are we supposed to preach about preaching about what? Something like that. I don't know. Someone might remember that quote. If we don't understand. So of course, it's all transcendental. Whatever Didya Gyan we have, that's absolute, and is also transcendental and beneficial for everyone. His King Praruda from Jagannath Puri, he quotes the gopis in the Srimad Bhagavatam, that verse, Tavakatam ritam tapta jivanam kavibir ititam kalmasapaham Shavaram Mangalam Srimad what? Srimad Agatam, and then Bhuvi Granantite, whatever. So the gopis are telling Krishna that you're so the words describing your transcendental nature and appearance and activities are beneficial for everyone that are suffering in this material world. So when we came in 1989, which is the second time, I think we stayed for. The first time it was only a month, and after that visit to Vrindavan, I vowed that 1 month is not enough. How can you absorb, even materially speaking, when tourists go to a foreign country, to try to appreciate, what can you appreciate in 1 month, the culture and everything like that. So what to speak of Vrindavan. So I vowed to next time to stay longer. And every time it was like 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, 5 years, like that. So in 1989, we had the blessing of Aindra Prabhu's appearance, manifestation before us, like that. So there's the pastime that comes to mind is that we went up to his room in the old Gurukul building to have a job interview, like that. So Aindra Prabhu was standing in his doorway, and Nitai, who lives in Canada now, Nitai, one of the original members of the 24-hour Kirtan, along with Madhava and Gopinath and who was the devotee from Nepal? Ananda something. So they were having a heated discussion, of course. Aindra Prabhu was always very, very hot, transcendently hot. So the heated discussion went something like, Nitai was saying, yes, but we have to, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, we have to follow the Mahajans. And Aindra Prabhu, he shot back saying, we don't follow the Mahajans. We follow the gopis. Like that. I should wrap up, no? Let's see. Oh yeah, so then we went I was waiting for the heated discussion to cool down a little bit. And 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And it was sort of uncomfortable because I was standing there like, hello, can I introduce myself? So then when that conversation ended, and Nitai left, I guess, and then I went inside for the job interview, and Aindra Prabhu's room was very dark. I guess he had the lights out, or there was no electricity. I can't remember exactly, but it was very dark, and everything was all like in English or in America we say organized junk. Like you have everything is like apparently it's like all misplaced and quote dirty unquote or whatever. But it was very dark. So we sat down for the interview, and Aindra Prabhu was explaining, yes, the kirtan is very important, and it's Prabhupada explains that the mridanga player and the singer work together as a team. This is Prabhupada's instructions, that they work as a team, and the mridanga player, he plays half the volume of the singer. And everyone, and the mridanga player, and so everyone else, after the mridanga player, they're supposed to play half the volume of the mridanga. This is Prabhupada's instructions for kirtan. So then Aindra Prabhu went on to explain that the kirtan, generally speaking, the kirtan should start off very slowly, like in Mangalarti, for example. The kirtan should start off very slowly and then gradually, gradually increase like that. And he was explaining it very figuratively. He was saying, yes, in the beginning it's like, like a walkathon, you're walking, and then he said, then it's like you're walking like a little faster, and then you're like, like at a clip, and you're like, it's like a walkathon, and then he was explaining gradually that the kirtan would go like that, and then he would say that then you're like actually it's like a running marathon, like it's not just walking, it's running, and then after running, you're actually almost with your feet off the ground, and then he was explaining that then it's like you're gliding, and then after gliding it's like you're flying, and then after flying you're soaring. So that's how Aindra Prabhu was explaining it. That explains Aindra Prabhu's style of kirtan. So there's time, place, and circumstance. Generally speaking, the kirtan should start off slowly. Like you don't want to have a rip-roaring kirtan, for Mangalarti at the get-go. It's a gradual thing like that. There's exceptions to the rule, but we don't want to make rule exceptions. That's what Aindra Prabhu explained also. So this is very auspicious that Aindra Prabhu's samadhi is being installed, I think. Of course, Aindra Prabhu, he wanted to be close to his deities, which is not so far away. And by the mercy of the ISKCON Vrindavan temple management, they've made all these beautiful arrangements. And we're very grateful for all of you to come and participate and help Lord Chaitanya's mission by spreading the Yuga Dharma in every town and village. So let us raise our hands and chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Sripad Aindra Prabhu ki jai.
So, is Madhumangal Prabhu still around? Or he has left? Oh yes. Prabhuji, please come. Madhumangal Prabhu has been instrumental in establishing many Harinam Sankirtan in ISKCON Delhi. He and Sriniket Prabhu, they both teamed up and they started 24-hour Kirtan in ISKCON Delhi, Shri Radha Parsarthi Mandir, on every Ekadashi. And just by looking at their example, many other temples, the nearby temples like ISKCON Faridabad, ISKCON Noida, and other places, they actually. Yes. Next. Yes. Dadu is next. So, I will request Madhumangal Prabhu.
Prabhuji was saying that looking at our example, so we are not the one who has established the examples. So there was two things, like my Guru Maharaj, he wanted to have 24-hour Kirtan in Radha Parsarthi temple. And Sripad Aindra Prabhu said, what is the use of 24-hour Kirtan in Delhi? It is better to have daily Harinam Sankirtan there. And then we have to have, we need to follow both. Then I went back to my Guru Maharaj and Aindra Prabhu said, it is better to have daily Sankirtan on the street in Delhi instead of having 24-hour Kirtan. And you were saying that you need 24-hour Kirtan. So Maharaj said, okay, Aindra is right. Delhi is for preaching. 24-hour Kirtan is already going on in Vrindavan. So what we can do, daily you go for Nam Sankirtan on the street, and on the Ekadasi we can have 24-hour Kirtan in the temple. And because the two Vaishnavas, two exalted Vaishnavas were blessing this program, both became successful. And this Ekadasi Kirtan program is not just followed by the local temples. Even when we went to Mayapur and we told them that we are doing this, every Ekadasi we are doing 24-hour Kirtan in the temple hall. That time Sriniket Prabhu and myself both were there. And then they started there, 24-hour Kirtan on Ekadasis in the temple hall. Otherwise 24-hour Kirtan is already going on in Prabhupada Bhajan Kutir. So these are the Vaishnavas. Whenever they do something, it becomes example. And it is being followed by many Vaishnavas. So like Aindra Prabhu, we are discussing that Prabhuji's mercy, like he's doing Nam Sankirtan, Nam Bhajan, serving Vaishnavas, inspiring many. And like Mahadevi Mataji was saying, he was an example, then she said, no, he is an example. Because he's still inspiring many people. We know many devotees, they just listen to Prabhuji's Kirtan and they come here, even now. So he is that kind of Vaishnava who can inspire even after his departure, because his Vani is that powerful. So he used to sleep as well. Like some devotee was saying that we have never seen him sleeping, but his sleep was completely different. So I will just tell one sleeping pastime of Aindra Prabhu. I was at Prabhuji's room and we were having a very long discussion on some topic. and it was quite late, around 1 a.m. at night. Prabhuji said, I am feeling too tired. I think I need some rest. So I said, okay, Prabhuji, you take rest. I will massage your feet. He said, why? I said, I have experience of massaging the feet. I massage the feet of my Gurudev. So he said, keep it reserved for him only. I said, okay, no, I can practice on you then. He started smiling. And then I started giving little massage to his feet and he went to sleep for 20 minutes. 20 minutes, deep sleep. And when he woke up, there was a Shaligram Shila in his hand at that time. He woke up smiling, very happy. He said, oh, it's Shaligram Shila. I said, yes, Prabhuji. Okay, it's a Shaligram Shila. Yes, Prabhuji. I thought I am embracing Shyam Sundar. No, in the deep sleep, he was embracing Shyam Sundar because Shaligram Shila was there. And then he was like, oh, it's a Shaligram Shila. He is Shyam Sundar. So just 20 minutes sleep, he immediately woke up, went to take a bath. By 1:30 a.m., he was back in his room and he started cooking potatoes for his deities. He said, my deities, they like to eat at this time. Of course, that time I was not able to understand what does it mean at this time. Then I came to understand they have just, it's a Ashtakaliya Leela system. So this was like Prabhuji's sleep. He took sleep and even during the daytime as well, 1.5 hours. But this was his sleep. He was not just sleeping. Like Srila Prabhupada says, a pure devotee, he is always serving Krishna 24 hours a day. So how 24 hours a day? So we explained that even sleep is serving Krishna, because when we sleep, we get good rest and then we serve Krishna. Okay, it's good for us. But when actual pure devotee is serving 24 hours, his sleep is like this. Even in the sleep, he is serving Krishna, he is embracing Krishna. He is giving a God, a lingam to Krishna. This is his sleep. And despite, like Prabhuji was saying, he was always hot, transiently hot. He was always hot, but while serving Krishna, for the service of Krishna, and many of the devotees who are serving in the 24-hour Kirtan from that time, they know his another side. He was serving Vaishnavas. He has deep feeling for serving the Vaishnavas. Like Prabhuji was saying about 2009, when he made the arrangement for Mataji's on the first floor and Prabhuji was on the same courtyard. At night when I was there, he was like a bit painful in his heart. He was feeling a bit sorrow. He, among all those Vaishnavas, he has seen who has come and who is not come. And some of the Matajis who were Prabhupada disciples did not come. Some Abhijis did not come. And he was feeling very unhappy that I invited them and they did not come. And next day he went to all of these Vaishnavas. That what was my mistake that you didn't come. So he was like, he was connecting with each and everyone. It's not just impersonalism. We have organized the feast, invited everyone, whoever come, not comes, doesn't matter. Next day he went to everyone and begged forgiveness that maybe I have made some mistake that you did not come for the program. So this was it's not just Kirtan, he was connected with every Vaishnava, lovingly, compassionately, with soft heart. And he was very hot when serving Krishna, and there is some mistake, he used to become very hot. And because of his deep nature, he was extremist. When he is doing any service, that was extreme. Even he broke his clock in the room because of his extreme nature. That clock was disturbing him. So everything was deep, everything was extreme. So his service was also extreme. Even while sleeping, he was embracing Krishna, serving Krishna.
save this also for a few seconds. Let the light.
Uh-huh.
In the meantime, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. बस finish है.
लाइट आने दीजिए. वो जनरेटर ऑन करेगा.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So he was very hot while serving Krishna, and while dealing with the Vaishnavas, serving the Vaishnavas, he was very soft, very loving. Exactly, Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj explained about Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He was harder than the Vajra of Indradev, and softer than the lotus flower. This was the nature. He was serving Vaishnavas with loving heart, very soft heart, and while doing Krishna service, extreme. He was extreme in everything. When he was serving Krishna, he was extremely, very deeply, extremely absorbed in the service. So he used to become very hot. Once, he just took the kartal and thrown on someone. It's not a kartal bhajan. Because the devotee was so absorbed in the kartal, he was playing so dramatically, that he just took the kartal. This is not kartal bhajan. This is Nam bhajan. Even though he was playing very nicely. But his focus was not on the holy name. So he is extreme while serving Krishna. He is extreme in all the senses. So similarly, he was extreme while sleeping. Extremely means everything extreme. It's not just not sleeping, sleeping. But in the sleep as well, he was serving Krishna, embracing Krishna, and is inspiring everyone to serve Krishna. Just think about it. Hare Krishna. I just don't want to take lots of time. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Kundat Prabhu to kindly come forward and give his offering. In the meantime, Prabhu will read. Now, Aindra Prabhu is getting inspiration to start 24-hour Kirtan in this passage.
Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ramo 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 Hare Hare, Hare Nama Eva Kevalam Kolau Nastyeva Gatiranyata. His Grace Aindra Prabhu Ki, Srila Prabhupada Ki. So we are very fortunate to be assembled here today for the appearance day of His Grace Aindra Prabhu. So we had the good fortune of having quite a lot of association with him. First time I met him was in New York. I had gone to New York for a little while. Actually, for Rath Yatra 1984, I was supposed to go there only for 1 month, but I stayed there for 3 years. And so Aindra Prabhu at that time, he was there. And he had bus, or he had actually he had made a temple out of a kind of small bus or truck, which was open at the side. So he had very nicely decorated the truck to the side, so it looked like a temple. And so he had his deities with him, and every day he was going out in the streets of New York, 55th Avenue and so on, busy streets, and he was chanting the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So at that time I was Pujari in Radha Govinda temple also, and I used to go also for preaching to the Indian community because I'd learned Hindi. So Actually, every evening, almost every evening or many evenings, I used to speak to him. We had a very wonderful, friendly relationship. So, of course, usually persons of the birds of the same feather, they flock together, as the saying goes. So usually, also even amongst people or devotees, those with a similar nature or the same nature, they get well along. So we were getting along very well. And so I was very much impressed by him, by his determination to every day practically go out chanting the holy names, and he only had a few devotees with him. And he was trying to get other devotees, but everyone was busy in the temple in New York. And so there were a few devotees only with him, but nevertheless he was going out every day. After some time they asked me the temple also to take care of the new bhaktas, which I was doing for maybe almost 1 year. So we had made some new bhaktas, and then I used to also go and join him every few days. And then we were chanting together the holy names. So he was very strong in his sadhana. He was extremely austere. For example, every Chaturmas he was following very strict Chaturmas Vrat, which I have not seen anybody else do. Even now, practically I never saw or never heard of anybody doing the Chaturmas like he was doing. Extremely austere, known as Chandrayan Vrat. So starting from the Purnima Tithi, having a full plate of khichdi, unspiced, without ghee, and eating from the floor. So, and having the hands behind the back, and then going down and eating as much as he could. So extremely austere. But he was still doing his chanting, he was doing his Diti Seva, and he was trying to go as much as possible out on Sankirtan. So, and always speaking about Krishna. Practically, well, no prajalpa, no unnecessary talk. Of course, he has different of opinions. Sometimes the management devotees, they have their way of doing things, and he may not have agreed, or he was asking for some help so he could have more devotees for going out chanting the holy names, but he could hardly get anyone. So, but even though he didn't have much help, so but he was going out as much as possible. And but whenever he had some time, then he was giving time to devotees who were with him or who had a good relationship with him, and then talking about Krishna only, or about Mahaprabhu, about Harinam Sankirtan. So that was his life, was Harinam Sankirtan. At the same time, so he was trying to chant the japa as much as possible also, not just 16 rounds, 32 or 64. But at the same time, he was also not fanatic that every day I have to chant 64. Sometimes when he had to do some project, he had to do something, then he was also reducing that for a little while. So then in 1986, he decided to go to India and spend some time there in India. And so he went to Mayapur for the 500th anniversary of the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then he went to Vrindavan, and he decided to stay in Vrindavan. And he was thinking, just like in New York, so we'll have a truck and turn it into a temple, and then I will go out. But he was not able to do that for various reasons, so he decided to do 24-hour kirtan. And as we heard, and he started on Vijay Dashami, 1986, until the end of his life. So he was every day, he was chanting the holy names. In the beginning for many hours, because there were not many devotees, 6 hours, 8 hours, and many times the night shifts, because to do the night shift is not so easy. But then he was doing that also sometimes. So at one point, so he also was asked to come on the altar, because the pujaris, they had some difficulty with the head pujari. I was not head pujari at that time. I became later head pujari in 92. But that was maybe in 1990 or 89. So then he was asked to go on the altar. And then he was dressing Radha Shamasundar for almost 8 months, every day. And actually he was dressing the deities most wonderful. And he, in ISKCON, he introduced, so to say, a wonderful style of dressing the deities. In the beginning, everyone was hanging the deities' clothes straight. Everything was straight. And just that's how everyone learned. And even now in many places, the chadars are straight, everything is straight. And like worshipping Lakshmi Narayan, everything is straight. The crown is straight, everything is straight. But he was in Braj Bhav. He had love for Shamasundar. Tribang Lalit Shamasundar, his form is bent in 3 places. And Tribangi, Radharani. Radharani's form is also bent in three places. So, of course he had read all of Prabhupada's books. At the same time he was reading the books of the previous acharyas also, which Prabhupada actually recommended in his books. That anyone who wants to know about Bhagavan Bhakti and Bhakta, he must read the Brihad Bhagavad-Amrita. So, but of course first we should read Prabhupada's books, but then we may read other books also. So he read, and then he read the Brihad Bhagavad-Amrita, and then one place in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Prabhupada is writing, and the advanced devotees, they relish this book. Krishna Bhavanamrit by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. It's about Ashtakalya Leela of Radha and Krishna. So naturally he read that book also, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Govind Lilamrita. And practically all the important books of the previous acharyas he had read. So he was completely absorbed in Braj Bhakti, and especially Unadojjalaras, the Gopi Bhav. Because ultimately Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came to give the Yugadharma, the chanting of the holy names, the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So Mahaprabhu, he was, of course, the deliverer of all the conditioned souls who were approaching him, even they may be Vaikuntha Bhaktas or Ram Bhaktas. But specifically he came to give Braj Bhakti. And even there also again, so he came to give Unadojjala Ras, the Madhurya Bhav. Because Mahaprabhu is not different from Radha and Krishna. So, Aindra Prabhu, he was very learned in the scriptures, especially the scriptures of our acharyas, because different scriptures are there, the Vedas, the 4 Vedas, Vedanta Sutra and so on. So he didn't go in that direction, because there is no need also. But he was reading the books of the acharyas, which is allowing us to enter Braj, enter the spontaneous platform. So but he was conversant in Prabhupada's books and trying to completely follow Prabhupada's books, but then for better understanding Prabhupada and the Gaudiya Vaishnav's philosophy, so he read the previous Acharya's books also. So he was Shastravit, he was very knowledgeable in the scriptures. He was Siddhantavit. He knew the Siddhanta of the Gaudiya Vaishnav Sampradaya. So, and so he was then trying also to give that to the devotees who were with him, who were approaching him. Because the devotee who has love for Krishna, so he becomes very attractive. And because of his love for Krishna, because of his chanting with bhav, with transcendental emotions, therefore he was very attractive. And devotees, not only devotees, but anyone who was coming to the temple was very much attracted when he was chanting the holy names. In the beginning, many hours he was chanting, different times of the day. Later on, he was chanting in the evening time, just before Sandhyartik, 1 hour before or 2 hours. And then later on 1 hour, then half an hour before. So, and then so many devotees were coming, and people from Delhi also, maybe from all over India, all over the world, they used to come and then attend his kirtan. It was always packed. And everyone was then very much absorbed in chanting the holy names with Aindra Prabhu. So, and then especially during the festivals also, whenever there was an abhishek of the deities, then Aindra Prabhu was chanting all the time. From the beginning of the abhishek, 10 o'clock, abhishek is over, we are offering bhoga, Aindra Prabhu is still chanting. 12 o'clock doing artik, Aindra Prabhu is still chanting. 1 o'clock we have to wind up everything, everyone is going for prasad. But Aindra Prabhu was still chanting when everybody is going for prasad, because he was just so much absorbed in chanting. And the least, he used to take prasad in the evening mostly only, because the system is when you worship the deities, before worshipping the deities you cannot eat. So he used to do his chanting japa and then doing kirtan, and then he used to do his puja, but by the way also taking care of his devotees, by the way also speaking to many devotees. He used to come and see him, and when he started speaking, if you had a question, it was not taking, he was not answering just like in 2-3 minutes, but he was answering half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours. So then many times he was eating very late at night, like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. And then sleeping a little bit. Sometimes, so at one point, so he was dressing the deities for a few months. But then, I like to tell this story because he had a bhav, so he was dressing the deities very beautifully, and after him, then slowly but surely, the devotees, they pick up his kind of very wonderful dressing in a curved way. So it was looking like Radhishama going just now to the dancing, and Radharani actually is in how she's holding the fingers, that is Nritya Mudra. She's in dancing pose. And Prabhupada, one time he was saying, that is the dancing pose. And if Radharani is stopping her dance, then everything is finished. Just like in Ras Leela, Krishna is dancing and everyone is dancing, but then Radharani saw so many gopis are there doing Maharaj. Her friends were there, but then Vipaksha gopis, rival gopis, and new gopis who just had attained perfection, first time entering rasa dance. Then Radharani was thinking, no, I want to dance only with my friends and Krishna. So she left the rasa dance, and then when Radharani leaves, then Krishna doesn't find so much pleasure, although there are millions of gopis, and he also leaves, and then the rasa lila is over. So Aindra Prabhu, he had this bhav, he had the knowledge of the scriptures of Krishna's pastimes. So when he was dressing with bhav, and that could be seen. It was looking like Radha Krishna just dancing there. And so because actually when you dress the deities, the bhav of the pujari will reflect on the deities, and that you can see. Those who are experienced, they can see. So one day, he was dressing the deities, and then whenever he used to then open the curtain, he was first looking if all the devotees are there. So I was there also, ready for darshan, and he had a big smile on his face. I was wondering, wow, big smile today. He opened the curtain, Jai Radha Shama Sundar Ki. Looking at the deities. Oh, Krishna doesn't have the flute. The flute is in Radharani's left hand. Oh, wonderful. Radharani stole the flute. But other devotees, they have seen devotees. What nonsense is this? Krishna should always have the flute. And they chastised him like anything. And the next day, he dressed the deities very simple. Not hanging the cloth, because he was just a little bit disappointed. And then he told me, you please take up the seva of dressing the deities. So, because we knew each other from New York and I was dressing the deities there, and so I was for some time Gurukul, but that was not really my thing, to deal with the small boys who were pulling your legs. So then then he asked me, I told him it was just summertime, actually beginning May. It was summer break for the school. Then he said, why did you become Pujari again? I said, okay, fine. And I became Pujari. 1990. So, and then he didn't dress the deities actually for a few years. But then I became head Pujari in 92. Then I had to sometimes dress Krishna Balaram, sometimes Gonitai, and managing the whole show. So then I asked him, and I felt he should dress the deities again. So then I asked him, why don't you dress the deities once a week on Sunday? He said, okay. After maybe 1 or 2 years more, then I said, well, maybe you like to dress 2 times because you dress the deities so nicely. They said, okay. And then every festival we used to dress together. I used to dress Radharani and he used to dress Shama Sundar every festival. And then after dressing the deities, he used to jump out and start the kirtan after the class. Maybe a little while he was chanting some japa, and then after class he was there for kirtan during the festivals. And at least 4 hours till like 2 o'clock, or then you have to slow down the kirtan, and then he used to chant more japa. And in evening time again he used to come, especially on the festivals, and then doing his deity worship and eating prasadam late at night. So that is Aindra Prabhu, so completely absorbed. Like the Goswamis. I haven't seen anybody else being so renounced as him, being so much absorbed. Like the Goswamis. So eating very little. And once a day only. That was his vrat. Once a day he was eating. But first chanting, trying to chant 64 rounds, doing his seva, and then doing his deity worship, and then he was eating. And then of course when he was also starting to write his book, so that was another thing. And then by the way he was making also the beautiful kirtan cassettes, Vrindavan mellows, and so on. So that also took a lot of time. So extremely wonderful devotee, empowered devotee, special devotee, advanced devotee. And so many contributions are there. So he's chanting and he attracted so many devotees. Just by hearing him, devotees, they became attracted. Even after he left, I met so many devotees in different places, and they were sharing that, I really like Aindra Prabhu. Especially the young devotees also. I met so many. And also, for example, he transformed the Brahmachari ashram in the old Gurukul building, which is gone. So he wanted Braj mood. So he put Govar on all the walls. And in his rooms also, in some of the rooms. And then a very nice design depicting the gopis and putting wonderful pictures of our deities. And nice decoration, even not only putting gobar, but then beehives and bees and flowers. And in this way, when you went up there, then you're just feeling, well, we are in Braj. Otherwise, you just have the building. So he was fully absorbed in Braj Bhav, and then he was giving the Braj Bhav. So that is a pure devotee. So when you are in this association or surrounding, then you can feel the presence of Braj. She was speaking about Braj, so he was in Braj, and he was manifesting Braj. In Braj. Otherwise, actually there is a covering of the holy dham. So you can see, if you go on the streets, many times you can see so much dirt. And by the way, people even watching Hollywood and Bollywood films, even in Braj, drinking, smoking. So that is not Braj, that is the covering of the Braj. They are on the covering, they are not in Braj. Being in Braj means you are absorbed in bhajan, in chanting the holy names, in remembering Krishna, in serving Krishna. So he was in Braj and he was manifesting Braj for the benefit of the devotees. And therefore he had many devotees attracted to him, following him, and that actually then his cassettes, his kirtans became famous all over the world, and all over the world devotees are there who are followers of Aindra Prabhu. So that shows that is a symptom of a pure devotee. So he's attracting, or just by seeing him or hearing him, then one is attracted and one is impelled to chant the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, yes, I was very fortunate to have so much association with him in New York, in Vrindavan, in his room, on the altar, and he came also to my house, Krishna's house in my place, on Govardhan Puja Day, because usually on Govardhan Puja Day we have a special, well, the day before Govardhan Puja, because Govardhan Puja we have in the temple, so on Diwali Day usually I have a program in my house, and we invite some devotee for Govardhan Puja. So I used to invite Aindra Prabhu, and he used to like to come to my place and lead the kirtan, and then we had a nice offering. But then he was usually not hardly eating outside his house. Practically very, very rare. One time I saw him in one program eating something little, because he always had to do his puja still. But then we gave him always a big plate of bhoga for his deities, so that he could offer and honor the prasadam also. So it was my good fortune to have his association. I learned so much from him. So yes, in regards to blessing the deities, in regards to, of course, the understanding, the Siddhanta of our Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, and yes, practically I remember him every day, because I accepted him as my Shiksha Guru also. So he was elder than me in years and more knowledgeable, and so more things to say, but we don't have much time, and the other devotees also, so I'll stop here. Aindra Prabhu ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Hare Krishna.
So now I'll request His Grace Madhav Gopal Prabhu to kindly come and give his offering. Madhav Gopal Prabhu is from Govardhaniko village, a very learned scholar of scriptures and very humble devotee, very sweet devotee. Please come, Prabhuji. And coincidentally, he was locked down in the Corona time in Vrindavan. He came to Vrindavan for some special service, but due to the lockdown situation, he could not go, and he chose to serve in 24-hour Kirtan. So he is a melodious singer, very nice devotee. So we'll hear from
Lotus feet, all Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis present here. So I was just reflecting on this day how Sripad Aindra Prabhu inspired me personally. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Ananta Guna Raghunathera ke karibe lekha, Raghunathera niyam jana pashanira rekha. This means that Raghunath Das Goswami has unlimited qualities, but like who can count all of them. So just one thing I would say is that his rules were like lines on the stone. So I was just reflecting upon some qualities of transcendental qualities of Sripad Aindra Prabhu. One thing that struck me is everything that he said and everything that he did was following particular mood of particular acharyas, and I would like to share that by my reflections. So let's start with A. A for absorption. Many devotees mentioned here Mahabhagavat Prabhu and Mukundat Prabhu, how he was continuously absorbed in chanting. So Sripad Ramanujacharya says that Bhavati cha smrute bhavana prakarshat darshana samana karata. Simply speaking, it means that the more we absorb, the more we realize in anything. If we absorb in chanting, the more we realize that name and the naam and the nami are not different. So more we absorb in Leela, it is as if seeing the Leela. Absorbing in Leela is as good as seeing the Leela. So that is the principle. And Sripad Aindra Prabhu exemplified that principle of absorption, that Krishna consciousness is about absorbing whatever we do, whether it is chanting or deity worship. Like Mukundat Prabhu was saying that he would worship the deities with bhav. So that bhav, with that bhav only absorption can come. And then let's move towards I. I is for intensity. So many devotees here shared already how everything he did was so intense. His preaching was intense, his chanting was intense. As Mataji was saying in the beginning that that even the cockroaches and mice are born in the movement. How does it matter? Like we have to. So everything that Aindra Prabhu did was with intensity, and I reflect on that as Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur, he mentions in Radharasa Sudhanidhi that Alam Vishaya Vartaya Narako Koti Vibhatsaya Vrutha Shruti Katha Shramo Bata Bibhemi Kaivalyata. So here he is saying hell with sense gratification, hell with desire for mukti, and hell with desiring for any other spiritual goal also. So we'll see that mood if you have read the book. You will see that same mood, hell with this, hell with that, hell with hell with anything that doesn't please Krishna, please Sri Radha. So that similar mood we see in whatever Aindra Prabhu wrote in that book, Heart of Transcendental Book Distribution. If you he doesn't quote, like, because it's not an academic book, like where you give a suffix and then a short footnote. Oh, this is from Vilap Kusumanjali. Oh, this is from this book. Oh, this is from. So because it was just, what is it called? Heartfelt profusion, right? What first what is it? No. Something offering from within, like first, second, third, fourth, like that, like showers. So it was not an academic book. But if we stress out, we will find some Gaudiya Acharyas. Like I will give one example where Aindra Prabhu writes that let me have millions of hands to distribute books with millions of brains to concoct plans to distribute books. So this is in the line of one of the writings of Chakravarti Pad where he mentions a similar thing. So that theme we can see that Sripad Aindra Prabhu is exemplifying the theory that or the text that our acharyas are mentioning. He is the example of that, as they say that a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? And an example is worth million pictures. We can move ahead and say like that. So this is I. Then let's move to N. N for, of course, you might guess, Naam Sankirtan. So one time one devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, who just started chanting holy name, and he asked Prabhupada how to chant holy name. What do I think while chanting holy name? So Sripad Aindra Prabhu said, you should think, who is Krishna to me while I am chanting? Who is Krishna to me? what does your heart say? Is he your friend? Is he your son? Is he your consort? So, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, and then you if you think that he is your friend, then you should think that I am chanting my friend's name. And this is very interesting because Jiva Goswami also mentions very similar thing. He mentions that holy name could be chanted in two ways. One is Kevalatvena and second is Sneha Sanyuktatvena. Kevalatvena means without the involvement of mind. And that okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna wants me to wind up very quickly. So, where was I? Nam Sankirtan. Yeah, okay, we did practical Nam Sankirtan. Okay. So he was mentioning that, so Jiva Goswami mentions that two types of chanting. One type of chanting can lead mukti but not prema. But Sneha Sanyukta chanting, that leads to prema for Krishna. So this is the practical way of, so this is like when you read it in Jiva Goswami's text, it looks like very academic and very heavy. But when Aindra Prabhu said it, it is so practical and so like anybody can think and contemplate and do it. So this is about N for Nam Sankirtan, that he dedicated his whole life for. And then comes D for Dham Nishtha. I think Aranya Vihari Prabhu was only sharing, I can't remember, but Aindra Prabhu was so attached to Vrindavan Dham that one time he threw his passport in Yamuna. I've heard, some of the pastimes are like Laukik Praman, not Shastrik Praman. The Praman is coming from different sources, but he didn't. And then he said that somebody can confirm here, and then he said that now I am so happy, I don't have to go out of Vrindavan or out of India for that matter. So that was his Dham Nishtha, and he encouraged many devotees. He said that somebody asked Aindra Prabhu, and it reflected his humility also, that why you chose Vrindavan Dham. So Sripad Aindra Prabhu said, this is because I am lazy intelligent. Because anything that you do in Dham is 1,000 times magnified. So I thought, okay, then if I chant in holy name, it is 1,000 times, like I go closer to Krishna. If I do deity worship, it is 1,000 times I go near Krishna. So that was his Dham Nishtha along with his humility. And then comes R for Radha Sham. Radha Sham Sundar, we practically see that entirety of Vrindavan is the pastime place of Radha Krishna. But then the temple, Krishna Balaram temple, is a place which is a representative of entire Vrindavan. If I remember correctly, Prabhupada mentioned that I have invited all the holy places of Vrindavan within this temple, right? And if you go zoom in Then Aindra Prabhu's room is mini model of that temple also. Like you see the same Kadamba tree like that is in the courtyard of the temple. Then you have Giridhar Gopal Sham, right? Girdhari Gopal Sham. And at the side you have Balramji also, like his because his elder brother, he is keeping little aloof and watching from distance. So his entire room is mini model of that. And then you again zoom in, then it is Aindra Prabhu's heart, which is even the model of his room. So is Radha Sham Sundar everywhere, in entirety of Vrindavan, in the temple, in his room, and in his heart. So it is Radha Sham R. And last is A. A is for the personality he followed in Nitya Krishna Leela, which is like a riddle. I will leave it up to you. What personality that starts with A? The role model he used to follow. Seva sadhaka rupena siddha rupena chatrahi. So that role model, if you read his book or if you hear, if you might have already figured out what, like Prabhuji already mentioned. So I would on this day would like to pray to Sripad Aindra Prabhu's lotus feet that he bestows his mercy upon all of us to get Nam Nishtha, Dham Nishtha, absorption, intensity, and love for Radha Sham, and inspire us to follow our own role model ultimately. Hare Krishna. Sripad Aindra Prabhu ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Not the least, I will request Pandav Sakha Prabhu to come and kindly give your offerings to Sripad Aindra Prabhu. And after this, we will read one passage which was Aindra Prabhu's dream initially when he joined in Srila Prabhupada's movement. So he had a vision. To say it's a dream it's a wrong thing. It's a vision what Aindra Prabhu had, which he actually mentions, and that's there in the biography. We will read that, and after that we will have Pushpanjali, then Aarti Kirtan, and of course then 3 p.m. we have wonderful feast waiting for all of us. So we'll wait to hear.
I get very emotional. I had a long association with him from 1992 when I came from Bangalore, and the first time I saw him, he had those gungrus here in his legs, 2 legs, and he was chanting. It's okay. So, please forgive me. So, I saw that Kirtan with Loknath Maharaj and Aindra Prabhu. That is almost 12 hours. I don't know, I think it was 12 hours if I remember correctly. And it was just a melodious Kirtan. And my mother was a classical singer, so I was naturally inclined towards singing. So Aindra Prabhu had all those melodies which I wanted. Now he also took a lot of melodies from the Hindi Bollywood films, but it was such a nectar. It was a great nectar. So I remember, Vrindavan Mellows Part 1 came in 1992-93, if I remember correctly. It was when he sang. So in Bangalore temple, I was in Bangalore, I was a brahmachari there, and I was preaching and doing a lot of book distribution. And what I was carrying was of course, when we make life members and some donors, we give them Bhagavatam and Bhagavad-Gita. So I was just carrying the melody, the part 1, part 2, part 3 melodies, tape, cassettes, those cassettes. So those cassettes I used to give with all the new donors and life members in Bangalore. So, and once I give the cassette, say on Monday, Sunday the person is already in the temple. So I made thousands and thousands and thousands without preaching. Vrindavan Mellows part 1, part 2, part 3, then prayers to the, then what was the next one? Prayers to the dust of Vrindavan. And those cassettes moved many Bangaloreans. And even today, I'm just preaching, I'm hearing and I'm just preaching Vrindavan Mellows to everybody. And I remember the holy, I was there sitting next to him and he was chastising me. He was, Prabhu, listen to the tune, melody, and then you sing. I was going out of tune. I remember the tune also. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. It went on for long hours. And it was a holy colors festival. And there was a devotee, he was drunk, 8 foot tall, with a big cap and big dhoti, pajama and kurta like that, how I'm wearing. So he came and he was totally at the holy colors and he was dancing in the courtyard. He was the only man dancing. Everybody was looking at him. Aindra Prabhu was singing this tune, Hare Krishna. So he started tearing his clothes. And when Aindra Prabhu was like, and it was such ecstatic. I mean, I was looking at him and he was saying, listen to me, listen to what I'm tuning, what I'm singing. You must listen to me. So, and this guy was tearing. He was drunk. I don't know what it was, but it was such an ecstatic moment. And then this thing was happening. And I mean, I could see Aindra Prabhu was not sitting on the floor. I could see that he was. I could see he's not sitting on the floor. He was so ecstatic. It was like waves of emotions coming, and that man was going crazy and dancing. I thought he was going to kill himself. He was just tore his clothes, and he just kept tearing his clothes, and he was dancing like crazy, and he was the only man dancing. Everybody looking at what happened. So that was one this thing. Then he made me join. I was a brahmachari. He made me join. What is the rule number 1? Don't look at Western women or Indian women. You're a brahmachari, stick to the day I even find you looking at them, you're out of the team. So that was, he kept on and he was very hammering on that. He said, we are devotees of Krishna, we are already serving Krishna and we are females, we are not males. So he just kept hammering that part. Of course, at that time there were a lot of brahmacharis who were not happy with him because he was too strict brahmachari. They couldn't keep up with him. So, and his singing was so good. It was so good. And I'm his classical singing. He was, in fact, Nitai Prabhu, and he was called to Saregama Pa, India's one of the most classical singers. And then Nitai Prabhu got selected because he was a classical Indian singer. Aindra Prabhu couldn't get selected. That was the most. We all got shocked. He said. He just did like this. I asked him, Prabhu, what happened? Jane do, let it go. He said, because there's no competition when you're doing chanting with pure devotion. So there's no competition. So he already won that. He did more than Saregama. So Saregama is only a material classical. So this is like he is already in the pure bhakti of Radharani and Krishna, Radha Shyam Sundar. And even today, whenever I'm alone, I will just, the kirtan comes and that kirtan is still there. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So I just sing, I kept singing, I just keep on singing his tunes. And he inspired many Delhi young boys like you all. And when he left his body, I was in Singapore. And it was very hard to believe he has left. And it was very, very hard. So it was very hard, and for me to accept the fact that he left. And I saw his funeral pyre in the KC Ghat, and the devotees, the young boys, they had taken his body. Nobody had the courage to even say goodbye to him because he was so. I mean, it was so. Even today, I cannot accept it. So the only thing which gives me solace is the prayers to the dust of Vrindavan. Sorry. So part 1, part 2, part 3. So I always just spend my time. The kirtan I want to listen is only Aindra Prabhu. Of course, there are many devotees there. They have great. But what he had, nobody has that. I'm still trying to find out his way of wearing dhoti, just one dhoti and then all winters. And of course, there are so many things, Prabhu. I think I have time for 1 minute. so, and whenever I went to see him, and he was like every time discussing with the devotees, with his team, all Bhagavatam, and I felt very inspired by whenever I went there, and and then his room. If you have seen his room, those times he had made that room, marble room, into a hut, cow dung everywhere, and then he had his what do you call music system to record the Vrindavan mellows and all that. So he had that, and then he lost his voice. I think if somebody can remember, he lost his voice for 1 or 2 months, 3 months, and then I was in Bangalore. I was like shocked because these people want to go and meet him. Bangalore devotees. Who's this? Who's this singer? Vrindavan Mellows Part 1. Who's this? Show me. I want to go to Vrindavan and see him. So I has to bring all the tour. But now he cannot speak. So for 2-3 months we had to postpone the tour of Bangalore devotees to come here and see him. So that was the thing. But then later we all prayed for him very hard for him, and then he got back his voice, and then we were Hari Bol, so ecstatic. That was it was a nectarian voice, which he was very simple devotee, and some people didn't appreciate him. We didn't know that he's in a very high platform, because when you are in PhD, a high school guy will come, high school person will come. If you are in the PhD level, so will you be able to relate with the PhD? No, it's not possible. So we are in Vrindavan Dham. This is Goloka Vrindavan Dham. So somebody comes and he talks about Vaikuntha Dham or something, then it's very difficult to relate, because we are talking about Braja. The Braja, and Prabhupada said very clearly, we must meditate on Radha Shyam Sundar in Braja, not any other. That's the only thing we must meditate. So that's why we have so many pastimes: Nam Rupa Guna, and Leela. These 4 things. When we come here, can you go to Bombay and get all this Nam Rupa Guna Leela? Can you get Gulal Kund, Surabhi Kund? Can you get all these kundas there? No. So you have to be in Vrindavan to taste that. Once you taste that, there is no way material world is over. So I mean, for those who are aspiring, who have some attachments, and they say, don't have friends, don't have parents, don't have wife, and don't have children, like that. If you're attached to them, don't come to Vrindavan. And even if you come to Vrindavan, don't go to Yamuna river. And even if you go to Yamuna river, don't see the Tribhanga form. So like that, the Acharyas have given a very reverse psychology. So they must come. So when we come here, and we must, and this is all by the mercy of Aindra Prabhu that we all are here. And there are so many will testify that they have become to that level of pure devotional service. So, and sometime I would go, Prabhuji, Vrindavan Part 1, Part 2 is over, 3 is over, pray to the rest. What else? I have some new ones. Okay, Prabhu, can I give you some money? No, bring some oil for my deities. So I'll go and buy some perfume oil. Then he will, those USB drives and all, those cassettes are over, so I'll use the USB drive and go for that. So anyways, when he has left his body, so then I don't think so I can believe that even today. So I just need all your blessings so that I can follow in his footsteps and sing something to bring that emotion, bhava, where we can come to that this thing, then we must come to that level. As they say in Hindi, if अगर पानी में डूबोगे तो क्या होगा, गारंटी है, पानी में डूबने की गारंटी ये है कि आप मर जाओगे. और भक्ति में रसामिता सिंधु में डूबोगे तो क्या होगा, गारंटी है, कृष्णा मिल जाएंगे. So those who are drowned in the ocean will definitely die. That is guaranteed. So when you come to Krishna Bhakti, you drown in the ocean, Krishna Bhakti, guaranteed. What is guaranteed? Radha Shyam Sundar ki jai. Aindra Prabhu ki jai. Sorry for taking your time and sorry for any inconvenience caused. Hare Krishna.
So, at the end, as I mentioned, we will read something from his biography. This is the first week when Aindra Prabhu joined the temple. This is the very first week. One night, at the end of his first week, Eddie had another vision. Practically everyone was asleep, he recalled. My eyes were open. I wasn't sleeping or dreaming, but neither was I directly awake. Then suddenly I heard an amazing sound coming from a distance. It was indiscernible, but extremely captivating, incredible, otherworldly. It was unlike anything I'd ever heard. And another dimensional sound, not from here, completely transcendental. It was getting louder and louder, like it was coming closer. At first, the source of sound was not visible, but then I saw it as if it was coming out of a painting. There was no painting, only a wall, but it was like how a painting uses dimensions to give sense of distance and foreground, like a beautiful painting coming to life in multi-dimensions right in front of me. It was unclear at first, but as it got closer, I could see that it was definitely some kind of stampede. A stampede of cowherd boys and cows and calves. Krishna and Balram were there, and they were all coming towards me, out of the wall, beyond the wall, through the wall, so to speak. It was on a different dimensional platform, not confined by this physical realm. It was coming from a spiritual dimension. I could hear the sound of thousands of feet pattering and ankle bells jingling on all the cowherd boys, and thumping of hoofs of thousands of cows and buffalo horns blowing. All kinds of totally blissful, joyful sounds of merrymaking. Boys and cows and all kinds of beings were running and playing and laughing. I heard Krishna playing his flute, and cowherd boys were playing theirs. Krishna and Balram were running ahead, and all the cowherd boys, thousands of them, were racing behind them, trying to catch them, running along joyfully. The sound was so blissful. As it came closer, this blissful nature had a more and more direct effect on my consciousness. The experience of Ananda upon hearing the sound was increasing and increasing in my heart. They seemed to be on the platform 4 or 5 feet above the floor I was lying on. It was as if they were walking on a glass. I could see the bottoms of their feet as they rushed toward me. Krishna and Balram and thousands of cowherd boys came from a distance, stampeding over me, and then Krishna was looking down on with me with a beautiful smile, playing his flute and looking at me with enchanting eyes. He was glancing down at me from the dimension, down through the glass, and making eye contact with me. With the incredibly compassionate expression, he was just overwhelming with me, with attraction, inviting me to join them with his glance. Don't you just want to be with me? I could hear his flute clearly, really hear it, and I was listening to what he was playing. The sound was so incredible, my hair was standing on end. And as they rushed over me, it was uproarious and tumultuously sweet. They were laughing, bursting with joy, and chasing after Krishna. It was so much fun, incredible fun. And I was experiencing it all. Krishna looked at me in such a sweet and loving way. The Ananda experience of their influence totally overwhelmed me. And then I fell unconscious. All I remember from afterwards is that I woke up next morning wanting to tell somebody about my vision, but was afraid that they would think I was crazy. But the experience convinced me that Krishna was a reality, and this moment was for real. It wasn't that Srila Prabhupada was taking us for a ride, and we would end up at the end of life realizing that when you are dead, you are dead. It had been only 1 week, but the experience made me fully convinced of the power and potency of Hare Krishna movement. That there really was a Krishna, that it wasn't just a mythological story. It was formative experience for Aindra and a memory he held close to his heart for the rest of his life and often recounted to others in emotional detail, tears flowing from his eyes as he preached about this importance of remaining under the protective umbrella of Srila Prabhupada's society. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sripad Aindra Prabhu ki jai. And the very last thing, I will just take 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. I want to express my sincere gratitude to all the devotees who made today's festival successful. The very first, my sincere gratitude I want to express. I requested His Grace Vrindavan Vasi Prabhu from Delhi to come, but he could not make it. I don't know, he must have got some compelling reason not to make it. But Vrindavan Vasi Prabhu is the one who actually donated the whole Lakshmi for the Samadhi Seva, for the Samadhi structure. So big Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. As his name suggests, Vrindavan Vasi is always in Vrindavan mood. I've met him so many times, and he really loves Aindra Prabhu so much. Then another devotee, I want to express my sincere gratitude. Dipanshi Sharma Mataji from Mumbai. Single-handedly, she sponsored the whole outfit for the deities in Aindra Prabhu's room for today, as well as the whole feast prasadam. A big Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Then third, I want to express my gratitude to His Grace Rasapriya Prabhu. He and his team, we had multiple discussion back and forth that how we'll design this Samadhi, and he is the core main designer of the Samadhi, the external structure what we see. So just a little background. So personally, I also had many discussions with the Kinchana Prabhu. I presented him idea that from outside I want the Samadhi to be a Vraja theme, looking like Vrindavan, and inside, as soon as we enter the inside, it should be giving the feeling of Harinam Sankirtan. That's what I want. And I also want to give big credit to Vishakha Mataji, good wife of Shrutikirti Prabhu. He also kept on, you can say, not pressing is the not right word, but some kind of a little push she gave, that as soon as we look Aindra Prabhu's Samadhi, it should look like this is Aindra Prabhu's Samadhi. That's how it should be. So this also inspired me a lot, that yes, she's right. So outside, on the two sides, on the left and right side panel, if you see, there are 2 Kalpavriksha with peacocks and parrots on the flying on that panel, and on the rear side or the back side, there's a Tulsi Maharani with some petals of Tulsi leaves falling, and all across on the panels as well as on the border which is there on the lower side, there's Gomata, mother cow, there's Golok Vrindavan. That's what it is. And inside, Aindra Prabhu is sitting and Maha Harinam Sankirtan is happening. And these 2 wonderful Matajis, Narade Mataji and Amriteshwari Mataji, they made it successful within 1.5 days. Once again, I would really express my sincere gratitude to both of you. These 2 Matajis, they started 3 p.m. day before yesterday. Can you imagine sitting outside? Today is little better, I will say. Yesterday it was so hot. It was more than 40 degrees Celsius. So I was just outside and I was like, oh my God, they are still working. I just gave them 2 bottles of juice and some prasad from Aindra Prabhu's room. But they worked day before yesterday from 3 p.m. until almost like 10 p.m. Yesterday they started at 6 a.m. in the morning and they went until 10:30 p.m. Can you imagine? No break, absolutely no break. Yes, a big round of applause for them. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So really, I will repeat myself. When I asked them, they were like, yeah, we can do it. It was not very firm answer and I was like, okay. So then I was very kind of paranoid or nervous. Will they really be doing it or able to do it within 1.5 day? 27th we have program and 25th we are washing the Samadhi, still cleaning the Samadhi, etc. But thank you so much, Mataji, you did it. and you are a true recipient of Aindra Prabhu's mercy. Thank you so much. And Narade Mataji, again and again she was telling me, my Guru Maharaj is sitting in front, Kadam Kanan Maharaj, and he's blessing me, he's inspiring me. That's so wonderful. Thank you. Then I want to express my gratitude to Tapamya Prabhu and his Kirtan team who came, and I don't know, I don't see them here, maybe they're tired. Where are they? And of course our East Delhi team, Kirtan team, yesterday they did night seva, night Ekadashi seva, and now they all are here just to attend the festival after the waking up for the whole night. Then Faridabad, you team, under you Prabhuji, thank you for coming. Mukundat Prabhu, a big thank. Sorry? Yeah, Tapamaya Prabhu, yes, he is appearing on the scene. Thank you Prabhuji. I was actually wanting you to speak something, but I don't know, you escaped. So Mukundat Prabhu, thank you so much again. Mukundat Prabhu has been our guide, our mentor, our, you can say, spiritual father, a very close associate and friend of Sripad Aindra Prabhu. Whenever I go to him, he always guides me spiritually and devotionally. That's what matters most. He always gives Krishna conscious advice. With the very first thing, whenever he shares a voice note, it's not like a passionate person like me, okay, Hare Krishna Prabhu, so what's happening, okay, I'll just come back straight to the point. But the very first thing, he will just chant the mantra, Guruve Gaura Chandraya, or some pranam mantra, or Jai Shila Prabhupada, Jai Gurudev, Jai Guru Gauranga, and then he will come to the topic. That's what a devotee is. And very kindly, he extended his entire room for Nitai Shachi Sutta. They are comfortably staying there for many years to come. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Today, whole Samadhi ceremony he did. Okay. Oh yes, how can I forget Madhuri Gaurangi Mataji? Thank you so much. The name on this plate, Aindra Prabhu, the Aindra Das, his years of service, what he did in temple, that Mataji has painted. Thank you so much, Mataji. Then I want to thank Purnima Mataji, good wife of Mukundat Prabhu. Under her guidance, all the Matajis who have done the deities, cooking for the deities, and that Mahabhoga came, which was offered to Aindra Prabhu and Srila Prabhupada and Aindra Prabhu, which is there waiting for you as Mahaprasad. Before you leave to take prasad, just kindly collect some Mahaprasad before leaving. And my wife, she was a part of that crew. She was telling that when Mataji starts cooking, it appears like she has 10 arms. She is like so efficient. She just cooks and she can do multiple things within a very short time. So is Mataji left? She's still there? Okay. Then I want to express my gratitude to Ananya Bhakti Mataji and all her crew team who have done I don't know how many services. Every day these Matajis, she has made a roster. Every day one Mataji comes, serves the whole Samadhi, cleans the whole Samadhi, offer flower garlands, change the water, cleans the photograph, and now you will do in the new structure, new Samadhi. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Seriously, I mean, we are sitting here on the stage and just expressing ourselves, but these Matajis, they are working on the background, tired, just serving. Then I want to express my sincere gratitude once again to whole Vrindavan, ISKCON Vrindavan management, Panchagoda Prabhu, Shrutikirti Prabhu, Janardhan Maharaj, Golokanand Maharaj, and all Vishnu Nam Prabhu, and especially Dharmatma Prabhu. Dharmatma Prabhu has been instrumental in many services. Actually, he helped me to book the prasad. Then we were supposed to have this program in Krishna Balram Hall until yesterday, 3:30 p.m. That was the planned venue. But suddenly some things changed, and then Vishnunam Prabhu and Panchagoda Prabhu and Shrutikirti Prabhu, we all had a video call back and forth few times. But Vishnunam Prabhu was instrumental. He said, if I erect a pandal, during the night, is it possible for you? I said, Prabhu, seems difficult. Within one night, the pandal with the coolers, with the water arrangement. He said, you don't worry about it. We will take care of that. And he asked Srinivas Prabhu to work closely with me. And you are seeing this. Of course, I know it is a little austere, a little hot from the top. But thank you so much for your patient listening to all the offerings. And my sincere gratitude to all of you. My mental dandvat unto your lotus feet. So please, and thank you so much for your love for Aindra Prabhu. When these two Matajis were painting, I asked them, have you ever seen Aindra Prabhu? They said no. I was like, really? I mean, so much love for a pure devotee, and that too when they have not even seen or met him ever. It is just they have done Vani Seva so far. Now it was the first time they could do a Vapu Seva directly. So, and this is not just correct for not correct just for them. This is correct for all of us actually, who have met or not met. The pure devotee or like Srila Prabhupada and his disciples like Aindra Prabhu, we need to only serve their instructions. We need to take that on the heart and in our life and soul. That's what we need to do. Thank you so much to all of you. Now it is time for Pushpanjali. Mukunda Prabhu will guide us how to proceed further. And as I mentioned before leaving this venue, please collect your small portion of Mahaprasadam. There's a team there who will do the distribution. If it is not, kindly some devotees please volunteer to manage it nicely. And even for Pushpanjali, we have ample of amount of flowers. Don't rush, don't do a stampede, as Aindra Prabhu said, don't do a stampede. Come gently, pick up flowers and offer it. If you want to offer it here, do it. You want to offer in the Samadhi also some portion, you can take there also. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. Sripad Aindra Prabhu Prakatya Divas ki. Jai. Gaur Premanande. Vancha. Vaishnavi Namo.